Welcome back to Kill5tep's channel. Let's do this. We play Genshin on Honkai Impact. Honkai Impact Starry lah, whatever lah. Let's do this.
Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. If you guys want to donate to the Palestinian cause, I am raising money with One Ummah. They have a 100% donation policy. Link will be in the description.
Donate in a hurry.
So guys, as I was scanning on s2jnews.com, that's right, our very own news site, you can download the app for free of course, I came across this story. You got the Israelis that are suing Israel because of what happened on October the 7th.
Yeah, I'm so confused right now.
We may be aware that South Africa has taken Israel to the international court and they will be tried on the war crimes that they are committing on the Palestinians. A country that has seen apartheid before does not wish for it to be repeated with somebody else. This is something that can be said about South Africa. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for people that have witnessed great torment in the past or have been the tormentors. Yeah, Israel, Germany, they're not really doing much frankly. And since October the 7th, condemnation demands have been all too frequent. We've seen them on Piers Morgan, we've seen it on CNN, we've seen it on pretty much any English speaking talk show that you can possibly imagine. The first question whenever the Palestine-Israel issue came up was, do you condemn hate? Even those who didn't have much information or felt that they didn't know enough and remained quiet, even they were targeted and labelled as anti-Semitic. If you were taking your dog for a walk, you were labelled as anti-Semitic. If you were having cereal, probably labelled as anti-Semitic. Cereal that's with the cereal first, the milk after, yeah? Since October the 7th, there have been many discussions, yeah, especially instigated by the survivors of October the 7th, who have been saying that the IDF was shooting at us, Israelis, indiscriminately.
לא היה אור יום, לא היה תחושת זמן. שמעתי את כל הפיצוצים של ישראל, פיצוצים מאוד גדולים, והיה המון פעמים שאמרתי לעצמי, בסוף אני ימות מהטילים של ישראל ולא מהחמה.
Orang mabuk. Orang tak ada simpati pun.
It was just put to the side. Anytime someone brought that up, they say, oh, are you saying that it didn't happen? You're an anti-Semitic. So it wasn't even allowed. Now what makes this slightly different and more poignant is that Israelis are coming forward and taking Israel to court. When I say Israel, you got the IDF, the Army Israel Defense Force, the police force, and of course something called the International Security Service. So they are 42 victims and they are bringing a 200 million shekel lawsuit to these guys. Yeah, how are you going to suppress that now? What are you going to tell the people now? You know what I mean? Israel is literally being eaten from the inside outwards. Its very own people. The thing is, look, when you rule by oppression, you could be a Muslim or non-Muslim. Allah has cursed oppression in the Quran, the one who's created us. How can a person live when they are upon a curse? It's literally as simple as that. How can you be completely successful? It's the same when it comes to riba, when it comes to usury. If a person is actively engaging in that and Allah has declared war upon that person, I mean, how can you claim, this is going wrong, that's going wrong? Of course, because Allah's declared war on such people. It's the same with the zalimun, the oppressors. So imagine you have an internationally renowned secret service, the Mossad. You've got the topmost, at least top 5 army on the planet, mate. You've got technology that other people can just dream of, mate. And these amateurs, sandal wearing amateurs, have come and shaken you to your core, mate. You got so scared and discombobulated that you started getting your own people. I mean, how pathetic is that? Or some people are of the opinion that he let it happen. The Prime Minister of Israel just so he could go into Gaza and, reclaim the land. If he did, he's the dumbest person that I know. Yes, and I'm including the person who thinks 2 plus 2 is a triangle. Yes, Netanyahu, if that is the case, is more dumber than him, frankly. So these people that have bought the lawsuit, now what this case is emphasizing is that Israel, there's enough evidence to suggest that these guys knew something was going to happen, but they ignored the telltale signs. They were negligent. Why? Because they underestimated the oppressed. And when you do that, especially if they're oppressed, well, you can't mess with the oppressed. You know what I mean? You give them an elastic band and subhanallah, you lock him up, that guy will figure out something to do with that elastic band. You know what I mean? Because you're putting them in a very risky situation, and that is why even, was it Ben Wallace? Yeah, of, the higher up here in the UK, he's saying as well that, you know what, this is going to cause issues for another 50 years. And it's pretty much understood, that Israel committing the Dahir doctrine, which is disproportionate amount of force, so there isn't a resistance. Well, it doesn't matter, mate, because whoever survives, and of course there's going to be survivors, that's the way things go, those survivors obviously aren't going to be very happy. And Israel knows this. Yeah, but they're too stupid to understand because they haven't been held to a standard before. They've been allowed to just do what they want. Just like you saw the US president going, yeah, they have a right to defend themselves. Keir Starmer, the one who gets the Muslim vote. Labour typically gets the Muslim vote. Mate, what have these people done? You know what I mean? Even the leaders are so stupid. Some people are saying you got to look at Jeffrey E. You know what I mean? The one with the island. Are these people on his list? Did they have leverage over these people? Wallahu a'lam. You know what I mean? But I mean, that has been part of the discussion. It can't be excluded from the discussion. Blackmail has been used many times before. But yeah, guys, let's leave it there. Until next time.
90 seconds.
Assalamu alaikum.
90 seconds. New record, baby.
Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and starting off this year with some of that gaming love, I wanted to talk about one of the worst awards things that I've seen of 2024 so far. This is the 2023 Steam Awards, okay? A user-voted community pool of what wins on Steam, okay? And quite possibly it has some of the dumbest picks that I've ever seen, and one of my picks got snubbed, so I'm going to be using this video to kind of talk about some of these wins, but also I want to talk about some of the actual standouts that should have gotten mentioned or should have won, okay? This is going to be a little bit of a nerdy video for me. I'm going to keep things very positive because there are some really fun things for me to talk about in this. And there are really, really crappy games for me to rip on. So let's get started, okay? Now, this is the 2023 Steam Awards. We've got the Game of the Year. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure that if you're blind watching my videos, you probably can already tell Baldur's Gate 3 won, okay? That's not a shocker, okay? Baldur's Gate 3 wins pretty much every award. You have to, stop it from winning certain awards. And I can't deny it. I'm basically playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now, and 30 hours into the Act 1, okay? That's just the first act of the game. 30 hours. All right, that's a full game in other circles, okay? I finished, Final Fantasy VII Remake faster than the first act of Baldur's Gate 3. This is a game that is an old-school CRPG, Dungeons & Dragons, we are talking point-and-click, we are talking tactically handled combat, and there are, 10 different ways to do every single objective in this game. If you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, the first act alone, which is pretty much where I'm at, you will go through so many different locations, you will go through so many different quests, and the ways that you can do all of those quests, at least from my understanding and from my experience, there are so many avenues to go down, okay? If you, for example, find one quest, there's probably 5 or 6 different ways of handling it, okay? Some characters you meet may play a big role in Act 2 or 3. I haven't gotten there yet, but that's just the amount of depth and complexity this game offers, okay? Larian Studios is not screwing around. And being somebody that cannot do D&D in real life, because playing with people that take 20 minutes per combat round to make their fucking decisions, yeah, I can't do it, okay? Especially dealing with a GM that can't do their basic calculations. is beyond me. This game does it all for me, and that's pretty much all I care about, okay? And plus, it helps having 3D graphics to experience the world around it, okay? Like, Christ, some things you just need. Now then they got the VR Game of the Year award. I really have nothing more to say over here. I'm not the biggest VR player in the world, so I'm glad that Labyrinthine won. It's basically a co-op survival horror game, and y'all know playing a survival horror game in VR is pretty damn poggers. And then, of course, you get the Labor of Love Award, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure if you were reading the title of this video, this is the part where you got me. Because I'm fucking pissed looking at this dog shit of a video game winning Labor of Love Award. And you might be like, well, Muda, Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't bad. You're right. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't bad. I've been replaying that game. Great story, okay? One of the best looking games I've ever played. But read the description of this goddamn award. This game has been out for a while. The team is well past the debut of their creative baby. But being the good parents they are, these devs continue to nurture and support their creation. This game, to this day, is still getting new content after all these years. What a lie, dude! Listen, man, as somebody that is a fan of Rockstar Games, okay, I got a love-hate relationship with them. It's abusive at times, I agree. Dog, when was the last time Red Dead Redemption 2 got an update? Let's look at these patch notes real quick, boys. What do you notice really important about the latest patch notes? Dog, that was updated March 30th, 2023. It's been some months since this has actually been updated. And what do they add to it, ladies and gentlemen? Nonsense. BS crap for Red Dead Online that didn't really amount to much. This game, Rockstar thought, would be their second cash cow after GTA Online. Their only downside here was realizing that in Grand Theft Auto, you can put, like, jetpacks, the stupid motorcycle with missiles, the Oppressor Mark II, but it takes some serious writing leaps of logic, okay? Like some serious, like, Chat GPT 0.5 to possibly input an Oppressor Mark II into Red Dead Online. See, the fact that the game takes place in 1919, or 1911, whatever the year might be, the game actually does not allow you to have crazy flying vehicles and rocket, like, heat-seeking missiles. Trust me, if Rockstar Games could find a way to put in a time machine chronologically or, like, lore-wise into the game, they would, just to make Red Dead Online as profitable as GTA Online. But it isn't. It doesn't have the same player base, doesn't make the same money, so they stopped giving a shit about it. This is a game that would have been in labor of love had Rockstar made actual single-player DLC for it. Something like Undead Nightmare 2. Yeah. But see, Rockstar Games never did that. So the fact that they haven't updated this game for fucking months, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how anybody could vote this as the Labor of Love Award. But of course, look at all these other games. You got Deep Rock Galactic, you got Rust, you got Apex Legends, you got Dota 2. The key difference here is all four of these games have actually been updated, from my understanding, more recently than this cowboy game. But of course, this is a user award, so I wanted to make sure and check if maybe there was some trolling going on the old 4chan. Maybe somebody organized this. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find a post. But what I did find a post for was Most Innovative Gameplay, Starfield. Boy, we're gonna get that one real quick. But we've got a few more awards to come across first. Best Game on Steam Deck. So Hogwarts Legacy, can't deny it. I looked at the finalists. Obviously, I would say Diablo 4 might be the best case, because this game is basically designed to make you fall asleep, and that's where I play my Steam Deck most of the time, so I think that should be the best game on the Steam Deck. It is literally a game that puts me to sleep. And by the way, I'm someone that played Shenmue, okay? Trust me, if doing a forklift 9-to-5 job is somehow more exciting than Diablo 4, that's a crime right there. I also haven't finished Hogwarts Legacy, but I did play it on the Steam Deck. It runs okay, 30 frames a second, which is the baseline for a handheld system. I'm not going to complain too hard. Better with Friends. So Lethal Company wins this, and I looked at all the other awards, and actually Lethal Company does deserve to win this. These other four games, I think Party Animals is good. Sons of the Forest makes me want to die. Warhammer Darktide I haven't played, and Sunken Land seems fun, but Lethal Company is just fun with your boys, okay? Me, Kyle, and Amaru have been playing this game pretty much as we logically can when our schedules align, and we love Lethal Company. It is a banger. Outstanding Visual Style Award. Okay, so I guess this is the best looking game. So, or one that has a striking art style. Now, Atomic Heart won this, and I really don't know, other than the kind of like communist, like post-Soviet, like Bioshock aesthetic it's got going on. How is it that something like System Shock Remake didn't win? If it was up to me, I would have put that as a finalist. If you haven't played System Shock Remake, it is a remake of an old DOS-era shooter, okay? One of the first Metroidvania-style games before Metroidvania was a thing. But System Shock Remake was actually such a good game that, visually speaking, it had striking scenery. It was a game that was basically built with the bells and whistles of the Unreal Engine, but they kept that like old school MS-DOS era like visual style on the texture work, the enemies, the animations. So you got this kind of cool blend between modern rendering techniques and old school design. And a lot of it came together to create a really chilling, haunting, sci-fi Metroidvania horror game. That's one of the things that I really wish was brought into it. That is a game that is so fun to play that I actually went through it pretty much in 2 days. Like, my hours in that game are literally spanned across 2 or 3 days. And if I play your game for 2 to 3 days straight, that just means you made a really good game. System Shock Remake should have at least been on here for visual style. Hell, it should have been a contender for Game of the Year. If you're somebody that likes sci-fi, some horror, some exploration, hell, you like a bit of everything good, that's a game you gotta play. The fact that it hasn't been brought in here is just, again, kind of damning. So Most Innovative Gameplay Award is where I'm fucking done, dude. Okay, so Starfield wins. Now, if you're noticing, I actually did put a vote in. And I put a vote for Shadows of Doubt, okay? To give you an idea about Shadows of Doubt, let me explain how brilliant this game is. It is a completely procedurally generated detective game. So that means the city is randomly generated, the businesses are randomly generated, every room, every floor, every NPC, everything is randomly generated. And is generated so well that all of these randomizations come together to create a cohesive city. So what happens in this game is you play as a detective that murders happen in real time around you. So anytime you spot a murder, the game will radio you up. It'll be like, hey, dead body located here. You find that apartment. You go there. You break into the crime scene. You check for fingerprints. You scan for everything around the apartment. You scan for things that are missing. Maybe there's a bullet casing. Maybe you might find a murder weapon. Maybe you might find a fingerprint that you can't match. So you have to go through the game's world and interview people, stalk people, okay, break into businesses, sift through trash, break into government databases to get fingerprint identification, and actually map out an entire crime scene. Do actual detective work to figure out a crime. That's how brilliant that game is. It is one of the most innovative games that I have played in 2023. There is no other game that has come close. And the amount of hours I put into it is reflective. I played this game for days straight because it was that good. It was a game where I literally had to rack my brain. I hated it at first because I couldn't think outside the box. I was too game focused. Eventually, it was one of those games where I woke up at 1 in the morning, immediately ran over to my computer and finished a case because I had a eureka moment. That's how good it was. If a game makes you do that, it is absolutely worth the money spent. So anyways, I don't know much about any other game in this list, but I do know Starfield. And Starfield is possibly one of the Starfield is just Fallout 4 in space. So I'm going to give you the most stone cold take imaginable, okay? Bethesda hasn't made a good RPG since Morrowind, okay? Yes, The Elder Scrolls Morrowind is the last good Bethesda RPG. After that, when they made Oblivion, look, I liked Oblivion, but it was a massive step down after the world of Morrowind. Skyrim, you know where the phrase, oh, wide as a lake, deep as a puddle came into? That's Skyrim. It's a game that has a massive world for you to look around, but it takes all of the RPG elements that made Daggerfall, Morrowind, even Oblivion beautiful, and cranked them down so even the most casual of casual persons could load in and be like, yeah, I'm playing an RPG. Oh yeah, I'm making my character. Oh yeah, I'm making some choices. Skyrim might be Skyrim is like the KFC of RPGs, okay? All right, it's just generically terrible fried chicken RPG. You could spend the 5 minutes driving over to Popeyes, okay? But let's say you're lazy and you wouldn't do that. At least you got Skyrim on every corner. That's the problem, okay? Now, Fallout, I love Fallout 3. I think Fallout 3 is a great game. I'm not going to ever say it's a good RPG. That's a blatant lie. Okay, you put me up to a polygraph and I tell you Fallout 3 is good. That thing is going to go I might break the polygraph. It's not a great RPG. It's a fine game. Nostalgia gets me. Why you would... New Vegas, great game. Actual choices there as an RPG. Fallout 4. Take Fallout 3's choices, rip them away. Fallout 4 is quite possibly the most generic brand RPG to exist out there. Only ever finished it once, and that's because I just speed ran the last half. Starfield is if you take the map of Skyrim, all the holds in different provinces, and just yoink them out and put them on different planets. That game, Starfield, is a game where you are constantly going from loading screen to loading screen. It has more loading screens per minute than an installation of Windows back in the DOS era, okay? You probably have to switch floppy disks less to install Windows back in the old days than go through Starfield's like loading screen menace, okay? It's a loading screen to get out of a planet, loading screen to go into your ship, loading screen to go to another planet, loading screen to go in between buildings. It's insanity. But beyond all of that immersion breaking, nothing in that game is any cut above any other previous Bethesda title. The shooting mechanics are ripped straight out of Fallout. The enemy variety isn't exactly there. In fact, exploring those randomly generated planets is boring as hell. No matter what Bethesda PR ever wants to comment on any of their reviews, like, hey man, exploring real planets wouldn't be that exciting either. They're all mostly the same shit. It's a video game! Make it exciting! Exploring is probably the most boring part of Starfield, okay? You pick a planet, you pick a point on the planet, you land there, there's 3 randomly generated prefabs, and it's all just rock or whatever fucking biome you're floating around in. It's not fun. It's the most boring part. The most exciting part about Starfield is just the handcrafted quests that exist. So you do a bunch of the side stuff after what, like 10, 15 hours? You're pretty much done through the good shit anyways. The game, I haven't even finished it because it's that boring. The main quest puts me to sleep. Puts me to sleep like Diablo 4. How is it innovative? What does it do that's exactly different from anything else? Look, Starfield might be a fine exploration game, okay? But if you wanted to have actual exploration, why am I not playing something like No Man's Sky? It might be a fine jack-of-all-trades space game, okay? If you really had no other space game to play, sure. Why wouldn't I just play Freelancer if I wanted proper, like, space combat, or at least fun space combat? Why am I not playing No Man's Sky if I wanted actual exploration? Starfield is not an innovative game. It's just Fallout in space. Even the settlement mechanic. Somebody tried explaining to me, oh, it's a really good settlement mechanic. Dog, did you play Fallout 4? Did you play Fallout 76? All right? Yeah, it ain't that exciting. It's the same exact thing carried over. Look, you might fall for Todd's sweet little lies, but I don't. I don't anymore. It's boring. It's just a shame that Shadows of Doubt had to pretty much lose that list. But then again, the best game you suck at, Sifu? Get out of here. I don't suck at Sifu. You do. Best soundtrack award? Oh, please tell me what else won here. How did Hi-Fi Rush or Pizza Tower lose to The Last of Us? I'm so done with The Last of Us. You know something about The Last of Us? It's an overrated game, okay? 100%. It was fun playing it for the first time. Last of Us 2, I played it for the first time, had a good time with it. It is nothing more than a cinematic third-person shooter, okay? That's it. The soundtrack isn't even that crazy good in it anyway, especially comparing it to something like Pizza Tower. The ending theme to Pizza Tower, when you're finishing a level, clears anything in the Last of Us franchise. But it is what it is. Okay, I guess this wins. Sure, it had to win something. Outstanding Story-Rich Game Award. You already won Game of the Year, dude. I mean, come on. What more do you want to win? Come on, man. Baldur's Gate 3 just clears everything. Sit back and relax reward, okay? Maybe I do need to do some of this after this blood pressure raising video. And you know what? Dave the Diver is actually winning. How the fuck did City Skyline 2 get into the finalists, okay? NASA's, you know what? The best supercomputer in the world couldn't even run City Skyline if it wanted to. That's how unoptimized that game is. But Dave the Diver, super solid game for a Steam Deck. I'm going to play that and wind down a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to talk about some games I was interested in. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, Shadows of Doubt, brilliant game. System Shock Remake, brilliant game. That said though, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. Tomorrow we're talking about your Google account and why it might be at risk.
Alah, tak edit sangat. The fuck.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
New intro. And there's new tech coming. I mean, there's always new tech coming, but what better time to lay it all out than the beginning of the year for some of the best stuff we're expecting for 2024. Now, there was plenty of great tech in 2023, from smartphones to cameras to VR stuff to computers and headphones, a bunch of good EVs and a bunch of even better EV promises. But 2024 is looking up, so these are, to me, the most interesting new bits of tech stuff that we can look forward to for this upcoming year. Actually, right at the beginning of every year is CES in January, where it's out in Las Vegas. This year, again, I will not be there in person, but I will have my eyes on it, and I will be seeing if there's anything interesting that sort of bubbles up above the rest of the noise. I can always count on you guys to send me that stuff on Twitter if you see anything. But then also, typically kicking off every year with a bang is a January Samsung event, so we're expecting S24 reveal stuff pretty soon. Also, based on the leaks, it looks like S24 family is going to look very similar to S23. So it'll be curious to see what stuff they actually do change, but that's another January thing. We're about to get that soon. But the big headliner that appears to be right around the corner, it feels like, is Apple Vision Pro. This feels like maybe the most unprecedented Apple launch in a long time, certainly in my career online, just because, you know, love them or hate them, Apple is one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and them doing such a weird launch like this is pretty fascinating. So they've shown it on stage. They did that announcement video, and they announced it months ahead of time, but they have not shown a single Apple employee or executive wearing it even once. And they've let people actually test this thing out, including myself many times, but nobody has been allowed to film themselves using it at all. And just in general, there's still a lot of unanswered questions about how it's going to work, what it's going to be really good at, what you're going to want to use it for. Are you going to have to go into an Apple store to get custom fit to actually be able to buy one of these things? It's just shaping up to be one of the most interesting new products in a long time. Now, it's super expensive. Like, we all know that, $3,500. So it's for sure not for everyone. Most people I know don't even plan on getting one, but it is for those early adopters who are curious about the VR stuff. And those who do, I already know, will be very impressed by the pass-through, which is incredible, by the immersion and the resolution, which is really good, by the eye tracking, which is borderline magical. But it feels like it's going to be hard to review because it doesn't really compete against any of the other VR headsets. Like, it is much more expensive than any of the others, so it doesn't compete against them. But then also it feels like, okay, that means it has no competition, which is kind of weird too. It's fascinating. I will say, if you want to go back and watch my initial impressions after I first tried Apple Vision Pro the day it got announced, I will link that video below. That's one thing, I think this headset is going to be technically impressive to the people that try it. But the other half of the story that's completely unwritten is what apps are going to come out for it? What are the killer features and the use cases going to turn out to be that it turns out Apple Vision Pro is really good at? I had this vision of like wearing it on the airplane and watching a movie wearing the headset for a 4-hour flight, but it's also so heavy that I don't know if I'd want to wear it for that long. And will the battery actually last that long? There's so many questions, not a lot of answers yet, so looking forward to that for this year. But you know what I have almost no doubt about? I'm calling it now. Remember the word multimodal. Just for 2024, this is going to be the year of multimodal AI. See, we've seen so much of the focus on AI for these past couple of years, or the past 2 years or so. It feels like a long time, but it's mainly just been these chatbots, right? Where they're trained on all this information, and then you give it a text prompt, and it gives you a text answer. So it can generate, some new interesting prompts, or it can summarize something for you, or it can sort of spit out something creative, but it's text in, text out. But we are right now at the beginning of starting to see what's called multimodal AI, which all that really means is it's more than one different type of medium input into this AI system. So it'll be able to understand text or audio or images or video and be able to work with that and still give you an output. So Google got in trouble a couple of days ago because they faked a video, and it's still on their YouTube channel. It's a 6-minute video of them asking their new multimodal Gemini Ultra AI model a bunch of different questions in a row about, stuff it sees being put on a table, drawings, this guy puts objects in the frame, etc. And it's very conversational about all this stuff.
The cup to the left.
Nice.
So that was fake, or at least heavily edited, but I honestly didn't really care. The idea to me of it actually being that advanced, it never crossed my mind that could be actually real time. But the idea of being able to feed your virtual assistant anything, that to me is the leveling up of this AI that we've been hoping for. Just being able to give it whatever's in front of you, just be able to show it something or type out text or read it something or whatever, and all of that still works. I'm excited for eventually having a multimodal Google Assistant whenever that happens. I also even did a short recently about the Meta AI smart glasses. They have a camera on the front, but they also have an AI model in the glasses themselves on the computer, and that AI model is now, with an early access program, multimodal, and so you can look at stuff with the glasses and it'll be able to help you with it. Look, all I'm saying is multimodal AI. Just remember that word for now. And that's not even counting all the rest of the stuff AI is genuinely useful for. That's not even consumer facing, from finding patterns and immense amounts of data to be able to better predict and control wildfires, or to be able to invent new materials or cure diseases. What a world we live in.
We truly live in an age of wonders.
Now, new hardware is always fun, right? New phones, new tablets, new computers, all that stuff. You want to know something interesting, though, about last year? Not a single new iPad was released in 2023. Makes you think. Now, the thing about the iPad is Apple does tend to make a couple occasional, amazing hardware changes to the iPad Pro. I think the iPad Pro is genuinely one of the most impressive pieces of hardware tech that I've ever used. And then they do that every year or two, but then at the end of the day, you use it and it's still an iPad. So I say this with some hesitation, but I am actually really looking forward to seeing the rumored new OLED iPad Pro in 2024. That's something we've heard that we might get for a while. We already have an OLED S8 Ultra. That tablet is amazing looking, and I want to see a super bright OLED display on an iPad. We'll see if that shows up soon. But one more interesting design change we're actually expecting with Apple is actually the Watch 10, the Series 10, 10th generation Apple Watch. All signs are pointing towards a truly redesigned Apple Watch for the first time really ever in this year's Apple Watch 10. Now, let's be real. Apple Watch has looked kind of the same for a long time. Yes, the Ultra is a little different. It's a little bigger, a little flatter on the front. But the Series 9 looks just like a Series 8, which looks just like a Series 7, Series 6, Series 5. So they're all the same shape, other than basically the bezel getting a little bit thinner. Now, change for the sake of change isn't really useful on its face, but I just think the Apple Watch feels like it actually could use a fresh coat of paint, just a little design, a little refresh to get up to date with the Galaxy Watches of the world, nice circles. I think it would look nice. Also, have you heard that the Apple Watch is dangerously close to being banned in the US, which is a whole separate story, maybe worth a whole separate video? We'll stay tuned on that. Oh, and RCS on the iPhone. I'm excited for RCS to finally come to the iPhone sometime in 2024. They haven't said when, but Apple's committed to it. I usually don't root for tech to die, but I do think it's time to be done with SMS forever. So, welcome on board. Now, this one's more general, but I am actually hoping this year for some actually interesting smartphones. I'll put it that way. Because obviously this is probably a little bit of a crazy ask, because smartphones are clearly mature and they all are kind of looking the same and they improve a little bit every year. And even the folding ones now are kind of looking the same as they did the year before. But I think this is a good, ripe time for a new, maybe mid-range. It's not going to be the flagship, the big hitters, but maybe a mid-range smartphone to really try something crazy new. It might be a crazy, risky thing. Might not happen. But I'm hoping that we do get to see something like that in 2024. And then also, I've said this before, but every single year for the next probably 15 years is going to be the most interesting year for electric cars yet. And I don't think 2024 is any exception to that rule. And we've got a bunch of really solid EVs already out there in the world, right? The most popular new car in the world is an EV. And there's already some really good ones. In North America, also, the NACS port has very quickly gotten a ton of commitments from pretty much everyone making electric cars. So basically, Tesla superchargers will be available to way more electric cars. Great. Now this year coming up, we already have a Tesla Cybertruck starting to hit the streets. That's pretty crazy. We are also definitely expecting a Model 3 and Model Y refresh very soon, imminently. I mean, the Model 3 refresh is already out there. It's shipping in Europe and Asia, and I think it'll be in the US pretty soon. I would stay tuned to the Autofocus channel for a look at those. We also just got a crazy Porsche Taycan refresh, drop a crazy Nürburgring lap time, so that looks to be a competitor to the Model S Plaid at the very high end. But also there should be way more, hopefully more affordable EVs coming out over the next couple of years. So all of this, plus some hybrids that are somewhere in between for people not ready to go fully electric, that should all be the most interesting year yet for autofocus stuff, so I'm excited for that. And then of course there's lots of other tech that I am hoping to see take strides forward this year, but I wanted to cap this off with some of the videos that I'm most looking forward to here this year. So last year there were 70 plus new videos on this channel, which were super fun, and I have this like threshold for what I consider like a certified banger. Like when people approached me in real life mentioning one of these videos, there were a couple that really bubbled to the top, and those were the Tesla Solar Roof video, the Tesla Cybertruck actually, Apple Vision Pro for sure, and the Formula One Explained video. Those all popped off. I really enjoyed the Formula One Explained video though, because obviously that sport is incredibly high tech, but I also think low key, there's a lot of other tech in a lot of other sports that's worth highlighting that I think would be super fun to make videos about. Now, some of it is in the sport itself. Some of it is in the training for the sport, you might be surprised by. Some of it is in the broadcast, like you already know about those highlight moments. Tennis match, you see the ball, the slow-mo camera, and it hits just like on the line, and you get that replay instantly. The line of scrimmage in football, the pitch count and the strike zone in baseball. There's tons of stuff like that. My point is, I'm probably making sports tech videos in 2024 because I've had a lot of fun with those, and I happen to be very interested in that. But then I also want to do more collaborations in general. I've had a lot of fun with the Waveform podcast, which if you haven't already subscribed there, link below, get subscribed. But we have guests on there all the time, which are really fun, and it highlights how much you can learn from having conversations with people. I think my creator conversations are some of my favorites, but also just in general, collaborations with people on YouTube. So if y'all have suggestions for people, for channels you'd like to see us collaborate with, definitely leave a comment below, because that's on the high list for me. And then there's a few top secret projects we've been working on over here for a while that are finally going to launch in 2024. You'll know them when you see them. There'll be huge announcements. Stay tuned here on Twitter and everywhere else for that stuff. I've included Easter eggs to the two biggest ones in this video. They're subtle, but once they're announced, you'll know. So yeah, look forward to all that stuff for the new calendar year. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. See you in 2024, like starting now. Peace.
Happy New Year! It's your boy KSI. We're in 2024. New resolutions, new year, new vibe. We're out here and it begins today on the 1st of Jan. Well, that's when I'm recording this. But anyway, hopefully you all had a very good New Year's. Hopefully you also had a very Merry Christmas. Yeah, I got a few presents. One that really stood out was for my bro. Believe it or not, he got me this. Well, he got me the whole like series of manga. Currently I'm on number 10. This is Dragon Ball Super. It's pretty good, you know? And I appreciate my bro for it. I thought, you know what? Why not start out the year with the worst Reddit possible? It's ours. I read it. Honestly, this Reddit has been taken over by haters. Haters, Jake Paul fans, and just weirdos. Hope Randy is doing okay. Ah yes, his life update. It's right that I tell you that my wife and I have separated We'll always do everything in our power to focus 100% on baby Harper and at being the best co-parents we can be while keeping things amicable. I do ask to please respect our privacy. The most important thing is moving forward. Love you all. Obviously, it's a sad situation. It's always sad when people break up or separate. Like Randall said, I'm sure him and his ex-wife will be, you know, working together to make sure Harper is as happy as possible. It's life, man. Sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't. But it's how you move forward from that situation that's most important. Dax finally got his platinum. I think this is on his Facebook. It's official. Dear Alcohol is now certified platinum in Canada and the United States. Legendary. Thank you all. My genre of music is called Impact. That was kind of cringe, but no, honestly, like genuinely, like serious. I'm very proud of him. I know I've clowned him a lot, and I know we've had our differences, but I'm very happy for him. Like, he's put his head down and just continued to put in the work, even when he had one of the biggest haters, you know, shitting on him repeatedly. He just kept doing his thing, kept putting out music, kept grinding. So yeah, you have to respect him, man. And it shows, you know, the type of person he is. He's resilient, works hard, and he's managed to get his platinum. So fair play to him, and yeah, shout out Dax. Shout out Dax, alright? 2024, positivity, left, right, and center, happy vibes. It's a new leaf, new KSI, no negativity. It's all up from here. Come on, let's go. This is good. Great start. KSI yet again carrying the UK. Where's all the hate? I was expecting a load of hate. Like, Forbes top 50 creators in 2023. Mr. Beast number 1. Me number 2. Wow. I will take it. Yes. I'm the only British person. What? Why? Bro, what about people in the Sidemen? Millimeter should be in there, man. Come on. Oh, no, this is the disrespect. Chunks. Come on, guys. This is out of order. Either we need to step up or Forbes are just blind to the UK except for me. But yeah, wow. I mean, cool. I think I tweeted about this days ago or weeks ago. But I was saying, like, there definitely should have been more UK people in here. How is Jake Paul third? Honestly, no idea. Especially since he's above Logan Paul. Even though Logan Paul has just done way more than Jake Paul, but whatever. Especially for Forbes, if we're being honest, me and Logan should be joint number 1. Come on. The list is fucked a little. But anyway, JJ should keep the hair down and beanie look going into 2024. Nah. Nah, I'm just gonna keep it up. But look, this was for this scene or this movie, and it worked for the character. Let my hair down every now and then, but it's definitely not gonna be a thing that happens all the time. Vidal Riley's official card ratings for KSI and Jake Paul is 65. Jake Paul 73. Interesting. Very interesting. KSI attack 6, power 10, speed 8, defense 2. Okay, I'm guessing that's durability 10 and IQ 3. Wow. Okay, Jake Paul attack 8, power 7, speed 7. I'd put that lower. Defense 6. I'd put that lower. Durability 9. Yeah, fair. IQ 7. I mean, Vidal's entitled to his opinion, but personally, I think it's completely wrong. I think he's way off the mark. This is an abysmal call, and I'm going to reject it. I rebuke it. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Who cooked JJ harder? Okay, now we're talking. All right, we're starting to see the bad posts. Who cooked JJ harder? We've got Kodeka, Rhoda Shaw, or this guy. Can't lie, this guy went in. I can't lie, this guy went in. None of them cooked me. I am the chef. JJ's good deeds. Oh, okay. About fucking time. Alright, let's go. More goodness. 2024, positive vibes.
KSI from the Sidemen is the kindest soul. He gets a lot of hate and his good deeds mostly go by unnoticed. A few weeks ago I had a small role in a Sidemen Sunday shoot, but because of a family emergency I had to watch my 2-year-old niece and ended up having to take her to the set. I was so nervous that it would cause problems, but everyone was very tolerant and understanding of the situation. I was a massive fan of the group, in particular of KSI. I kept staring at him before the shoot, I think. He noticed that I was doing it. After an hour my niece started to cry. I tried to quiet her down as I didn't want her to annoy anyone. You could tell Ethan and Josh were starting to get irritated by it. But she just would not stop and it got progressively louder. Eventually, after a couple minutes of crying, KSI came over and sat with my niece.
Hold on, I don't remember this. I mean, I've been on a lot of shoots, wait.
Asked what was wrong and sat her on his lap. I replied that she was probably...
Hold on. No. I ain't putting no baby on my lap unless it's my own. The fuck? Hold on, I don't know about this.
That she was probably stressed or hungry. She had not had any food for a while, so... KSI put down his phone, picked up my niece and lifted up his shirt and started breastfeeding her in the middle of the set. It really calmed her down. He was such a chill...
I rebuke it! In the name of Jesus! I rebuke it! Do your own niece is sucking my titties! What the hell? Nah, get out! What the fuck? The fan. Big up the fan. I feel like JJ doesn't like me anymore. What? Where's he got this from? I must admit, I might have overdone it at times, but it was done out of supporting and defending JJ. What? Why don't I like him? What just happened? The fan. We're cool. What the hell? Why do you think I don't like you? The fan versus Leon on Twitter over Vidal criticizing JJ. You know what? I don't care. 2024. Positive vibes. Positive vibes. I'm not doing this in 2024, man. I ain't wasting my time with negativity or conflict. It's all positive vibes. Yo, am I bugging or is this a new flavor because I've never seen it before? It is the original energy drink from Prime. Yes, you have a gold mine in your hand. Be grateful. Didn't KSI say he would go Boldski if he lost? I vote he goes Boldski. Well, I didn't lose, so... Also, that was for the Logan fight, so you're way off. I've heard JJ speak Indian more than Vic. The German is on point too. Bro, I'm talented. I told you this. I can speak different languages. Yep. Hindi. ये आपका लड़का KSI है क्या मेरे पास एक बड़ा मोटा रसीला है और मेरे तुम्हारे से बड़ा है. I can also speak Mandarin. 我们都好吗? 我之前有告诉过你我有一个巨大的阴茎吗? I'll do Italian. Io adoro semplicemente il mio enorme e soddisfacente pene. And last but not least, I can do German. Oh baby, habe ich einen großen, fetten, saftigen Penis? Alright. That's my talent. Do you guys want me to speak some more German? I'll start right now.
Jo, ich spreche Deutsch. Es ist verrückt, oder? Ich wette, du hast nicht gedacht, dass ich das kann. Ich bin eigentlich krank, weißt du?
Alright, enough. This year is quite possibly been, I imagine, the worst year of KSI's career, with a lot of L's and increase in hate. But here's to a better year in 2024 and nothing but W's. Happy New Year Eve, everyone. Worst year ever. Worst year ever. You're saying 2023 has been my worst year ever. I don't know. Are you serious? Alright, where do I begin? We'll start with Prime. Prime sold 1 billion bottles. 1 billion! Not even 1 million. Not 100 million. 1 billion. 1 billion bottles of Prime. Name another content creator that has sold 1 billion of anything. Last year we signed Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski, Haaland, brother. Patrick Mahomes, Alicia Lehman, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, the UFC, Austin Matthews, Abai, Crawford, Shakur Stevenson. Like, the list goes on and on and on of how many people we've signed. And that's just Prime. Even in music. I got a top 10 last year. With Oliver Tree. Yes, that song that people hated. Still got top 10. I fought 3 times last year. Each event selling out. Properly selling out. They were all pay-per-view as well. And if you add them all up, I was the most watched and viewed and paid for boxer of the whole of last year. Like, no one else can compete. You can't put Jake Paul in there. You can't put any of your boxers in there. You can't put Tyson in there. Tyson Fury, yes, you can't put him in there. I got more pay-per-views Then all of them. WrestleMania as well. Oh my god, I told you WrestleMania was last year. I was in WrestleMania, and I haven't even mentioned the side men. The amount of views and videos we've done on all the different channels. Like, what other YouTube group is posting on 4 different channels and getting the views that we're getting? Like, fam, if 2023 was the worst year of my life, then fuck me. I need more bad years. I hope this year sucks. Give me another shit year, please. I've been posting as well. Oh, bro, like, come on, man. Worst year. Madness. Please, I need another bad year. This right here is why Reddit got let JJ cook. I'm glad people enjoy the video. Dub vid, one question go vibes. It was low-key a funny video to watch. All right. Positive vibe. I like this. This is great, guys. This is great. Any differences? You know what? I rebuke it. I rebuke the negativity. Tyler the Creator liked a video of JJ as Candy Cane Capone. Ain't no way. Wait, what? What? Wait, I need to see. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. What was the tweet? Worst acting I've ever seen. Wow, and then someone quote retweeted with me. The video of me. Triple C. And Tyler liked it. That is so funny. Yo, bring up Tyler Creator, man. Love the music.
They mash up my windscreen, tires pop, everything. My car can't move. I'm stuck, bro. Can you help, man?
Hi, man. I got you. Anything for you, bro. Man, bond the bacon, man. Facts, I'm there. In a bit, man.
I thought we were brothers. You gonna put me on this list? Bomber Club.
Sasha.
Bro, we with Sasha. She is scared.
So what do you want to do?
I got a plan. Will you back me?
Yeah, man, we got you. This is so sad. You got 5 minutes to live. What's in jail? Come on. Shh. Hey, man, check that. Hey, man, check that. Laughing at. If you don't have any context to this just looks like pure shit.
What is this? Where's my
You got my man here, Triple C, trying to act. Looks fucking terrible. Oh my god. Oh man.
Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
Oh man. Of course Tyler would look at that and go, yeah. This is the worst acting I've ever seen. Man liked it. That's so funny. Yo, big up Tyler. That is hilarious. The fact that some people actually get triggered by his acting as if JJ was serious is hilarious, not gonna lie. His name was literally Candy Cane Capone. Well, I'm glad some people understand that I wasn't actually being serious. Come on, guys. If you want...
Yeah. Bedal.
What the? This nigga quit it. Let's
use ChatGPT to do something no human should ever do. You already know the drill. I ask this bitch what mods I should download. It starts cooking. It shits out this bullshit. And now I will search the internet to find mods that are the most similar to this. Because, bro, sometimes I get shit like this, bro. What the fuck is this? I don't want to do this bullshit alone. So I asked Chuck Nasty if he wants to help me out. For some reason, he said yes. So yeah, without any further ado, let's do this fucking bullshit, man. Oh my god, here we go.
What is happening?
What the hell?
Ah! Alright, I'm in.
You're in? Oh, there you go. Bro, look at the clouds. Yo, shut the fuck up. This pig is just shut the hell up, bro. Alright, we need some wood.
Yeah, let's go get some wood, bro. Oh, Jesus. What the bro? What in the world is that?
I forget how to Minecraft.
Oh, that pickaxe is nasty, bro.
What is it?
Dude, that is nasty.
Oh my god, is that diamond?
That's definitely not diamond. That's iron or something. It should actually be a diamond and we're mining it with a stone pickaxe. I don't think it is, though. Are the cows, like, just skeleton?
Did you hear what you said?
Dude, this text message sound effect. Oh my god.
This is gonna be so annoying, bro.
Is that a chicken? Rubber chicken. Oh, look, another portal over there, bro. Dude, it looks... Hold on. That looks actually nearly completed. Wait, we can finish this portal, bro.
Wait, we can?
We just need flint and steel now. We could just light it up.
Oh, shit. Wait.
Sick.
Do we want to go to the nether right now with literally no armor?
Maybe we should get some iron first, so we're going to get bounced out there right.
How about we just take a look? A quick peek.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
How bad could it be?
It can't be that bad.
Oh
my god.
Alright.
Oh shit.
Alright.
Go back.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh Jesus. I see Freddy. Alright, let's get him, bro.
Freddy!
How much health does he have?
There we go.
Oh my god. Alright, bro. Here, take some.
I've got to...
my raw meat. What? Wait, run, bro. Run!
Oh shit. No, I'm about to die. I need to eat some raw meat. No! Oh, let me kill this thing. Right. Oh my god, wifey. Creeper!
Ah! Daddy, chill.
Yo, why do I have an RTX 3090 in my inventory?
Yeah, we basically go straight this way.
Yo, what is that?
The person standing up and the bee, bro?
Wait, there's a...
Nope. 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 Nope.
This is the Twitch meta where women with OnlyFans accounts are streaming completely naked and just not showing their nipples.
I don't care.
What, they put it just a...
Jesus Christ.
What is this matter?
You got to have a lot of faith in your like camera setup. That doesn't like the amount of time my webcam like drops a little bit.
I guess you'd have covers.
What?
No, if you go on Twitch right now. Go on Twitch right now, and there'll be someone painting. There'll be someone just painting
their boobs.
She's quite like big as well, to be fair. But like is there inherently a problem with that? I don't know.
Okay, go browse.
That's what you want Twitch
top
to be,
left.
innit?
It is when children look at Twitch.
And
it is an 18+ category.
It'll be just chatting, right? I mean, you
Oh,
got
Jesus
you got
Christ,
booty
here we
headquarters.
go.
What you got?
is going on?
POV. Your girlfriend forgot her something.
Why don't they just make like an 18+ section?
Yes, there should be that.
And then like just literally just goes in there.
She's just dancing.
Should be in slow mo.
Yeah. She's
Oh, no, she's doing slow mo.
GTA walking in slow mo. Someone in the chat said boner already, man. This shit's hilarious. And how many views has it got?
2.5K.
I think if they made an 18+ section, it'd be feasible, and just
I'm
say,
stoned too, so this is hit.
or a 16+ section.
I thought this was dumb, but now I'm bricked.
Because the only inherent issue is that a kid like
Clicks
goes
this.
browse, just chatting, and then they just click it. That's the only issue. That's the main issue of it.
Okay.
So if they make it like an 18+ or like just any kind of section that's like different.
But is this should this be 18+?
But
as
as
a child, I would make.
You can't. I make an 18+ account.
Yeah, I would make if I saw that there was an 18+ section. I would then go and create my 18+ account to go and click and see what it beholds.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know.
I don't know how you ever combat
It's
this
the
stuff.
moral.
Because a kid's always going to work out a way around it.
Yeah.
It's just one of them things, isn't it?
Nah, do you know what? Just chatting, it's all tits now. Oh, Here we go. We got some naturals.
There's like a hot tub section.
We got some normal.
But does that not say more about the
viewing habits of people rather than the content creators? Because they're only doing it because it gets the most views. I think it's also
if these girls would get more views playing Warzone, they'd play Warzone.
Yeah. No, but they also know that the people on these websites are.
Yeah, that's what you're saying though. It's the viewer habits that cause it.
Yeah. But then they are prying on the fact that there's loads of
horny.
Yeah, but you could
weirdos,
say this creates the viewing habits because some people might just be looking at gaming and then look over to the side. And
get a
there's
recommended booty headquarters, and then all of a sudden, like.
No, Freya does it all the time. Freya like goes.
Booty headquarters.
No, she goes to end her stream, and she's always like, "Look at my recommended."
What's going on? Rent apartment. She's made $85 to pay rent, and she's just laying
James,
on the floor.
Give her a dono. Let's get the.
No. Do not support this.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not paying you rent, Valeria.
Having fun?
Oh.
Head on over sideplus.com to get the full exclusive experience.
Boring. You know what? I don't know what to watch anymore. Aduh, kalau aku lepas nak main game ni, siapa nak main CS2? I don't want to lose. Imagine you pay so much on the knife and then you don't play. What the fuck? You just don't want to solo. When you solo, you die. And my camera is already lag. Wait a minute, The game is not lag. Tapi sudah lag. Capture card. Sekarang. Fikir balik macam nak capture the game. It's like a blurry. My setup is blurry. Blur. Suara ni berat sangat ke? Dah lah. Aku fikir sekejap capture card isi. Maknanya tak boleh juga pakai HDMI. Fikir kali report capture card. Macam hal ataupun monitor ni mana dah bang. Oh, easy so far. So good. Satu set. Yeah. Top moment ber. Yeah. Pop moment ber. Yeah. Pop moment ber. Yeah. Pop moment ber. Autumn is the beautiful horny girl in Rhodes.
Come with me to the churchyard. I'm digging up Mrs. Claypole.
Jesus!
Don't be shy, ain't no one around.
Just my auntie.
Your auntie's long past prudishness.
It's disrespectful.
You'd rather disrespect the living, breathing woman you got here in front of you?
Can't we just get married like normal folks?
Married? Don't be goopy.
I don't know what to say to you.
You two might want to find somewhere a little more private.
We was fine until you got here, mister. Good day now.
Get out of here, kids. Move!
Come on. I knew we shouldn't have been here.
You missed your chance, boy!
No, tak lagi.
30 games, 7 layers. This is the definitive illegal and disturbing video game iceberg. I made this iceberg myself and it's exclusively made up of the worst of the worst. Let's start at the tip of the iceberg. Sexy Beach is a video game series developed by the Japanese company Illusion, who will come up again later for another title they've made. The Sexy Beach series is primarily known for its adult content, focusing on the interactions between the player and the various female characters. The setting of the game is typically on a beach or resort, where the player can interact with these characters in a variety of different ways, most of which being explicit. The gameplay involves dating simulation and visual novel elements, and you're meant to engage in conversations with the characters, with the objective often revolving around developing a relationship that leads to what I'll call gameplay encounters. Sexy Beach has been controversial mainly due to its explicit content. In Japan, it falls under the category of eroge or erotic games, but has faced criticism and legal challenges in other countries. The depiction of certain activities, especially given the questionably youthful appearance of some of the characters, has made it slightly infamous. Due to its nature, Sexy Beach and its sequels have had a very limited release outside of Japan, often confined to specific adult-oriented platforms, or requiring modification or censoring to comply with local laws and regulations regarding explicit content. Kawaii Killer is a mobile game that garnered attention for its unique blend of cute aesthetics and violent gameplay. Developed by Tabamasu Games, a small independent game studio, Kawaii Killer was released in 2014. The game features a vibrant, colourful art style, typical of kawaii culture, which is cute in Japanese, which is obviously made to appeal to extremely young children. In the game, players assume the role of a cartoonish character named Davy, who is a trapper in a forest full of cute animals. The gameplay is very simple and only involves various tapping and swiping actions to catch and dispatch of the animals in the game in a very gory way. Upon its release, Kawaii Killer obviously faced criticism and controversy for its graphic depiction of violence against the cute cartoon-like animals that are made to appeal to younger audiences. The surge of complaints made against the game from parents of young children had it eventually removed from the App Store and Google Play, with Apple issuing a statement saying the app concept is not appropriate for the App Store in its current state. However, children who've already downloaded the game are still able to play it. Postal is an extremely controversial video game developed by Running with Scissors, first released in 1997. It's best known for its dark themes and extreme violence, and the game has been subject of debate and controversy, particularly in the context of the portrayal of mental illness and societal breakdown. The game follows the story of a character only known as the Postal Dude, who believes he is the sole individual in his town that isn't affected by an airborne agent supposedly released by the US Air Force, that he calls the Hate Plague. This leads him on a violent rampage through various locations, including a ghetto, train station, trailer park, truck stop, and eventually a school full of children. The narrative is presented through Postal Dude's perspective, accompanied by a voice in his head that taunts his victims and makes cryptic comments to him. Postal plays as an isometric shooter, where the player navigates through different levels, engaging in gunfights against various enemies. The game's primary objective is to kill a certain number of enemies in the area to progress. The game stands out for its lack of a conventional narrative structure, and its focus on the protagonist's actions and mental state, rather than just a traditional storyline, which initially depicted the Postal Dude attempting a massacre at an elementary school, only to find his weapons to be ineffective against the children. As they all laugh at him and his mental state deteriorates further, he finds himself restrained in a mental asylum, as satanic and hellish images cover the screen. However, the ending was later changed in Postal Redux due to what the developers called an increasing prevalence and decreased shock value of school shootings. The revised ending features the burial of an unknown person, believed to be Postal Dude's funeral. Harvester, released in 1996, is an extremely unique point-and-click adventure game. It's best known for its surreal narrative and extremely gory content, and the game stands as a distinctive and extremely provocative video game. The game unfolds in the small American farming town of Harvest in 1953, where the teenager Steve Mason awakens with no memory of his past. The town of Harvest is a peculiar and unsettling place, filled with bizarre and hostile characters who seem like twisted parodies of real people. When Steve goes out asking the people of the town who he was or what he's doing here, he is always met with the same eerie reply.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
You always were a kidder, Steve.
Well, you always were such a kidder, Steve.
However, most of the townsfolk persistently urge him to join the mysterious Order of the Harvest Moon, based in the Lodge, which is a huge building within the town, which becomes Steve's new main objective. Steve's exploration leads him to Stephanie Potsdam, who shares his same amnesiac condition. Together they seek to uncover the truth behind Harvest and find a way to escape. The Lodge becomes central to his quest, as to gain entry, Steve is given a new task each day by the Lodge, beginning with petty acts of vandalism that quickly escalate to theft and arson, with each task having unforeseen and tragic circumstances that usually result in someone's accidental death, murder, or even the suicide of a mother and her child. Meanwhile, driven by their mutual fear and reliance on one another, Steve and Stephanie become lovers. As Steve gains entry to the Lodge that he believes must hold the answer to his strange condition and delves deeper into the building, and is forced to confront twisted moral lessons that invert traditional values, like how the Lodge believes charity is futile, and how you should not respect the elderly as they are physically useless. As Steve reaches the top of the Dreamlight Lodge, the climax reveals an actual twist, being that Harvest is a virtual reality simulation controlled by scientists from the 1990s, aiming to transform average individuals into serial killers by desensitizing them to violence. The game culminates in a moral choice for Steve. He can either murder Stephanie and be brought back into the real world, thereby embracing a life of violence, or if you refuse to harm Stephanie, you'll face death in the real world. This decision leads to drastically different endings. Choosing to kill Stephanie results in the game showing a final cutscene where Steve is released into the real world, but becomes a remorseless killer influenced by his experience in the simulation. Or by choosing to live a life with Stephanie in the fake world, Steve lives a peaceful life within the simulation, but is rendered brain dead in reality. Harvester has obviously stirred controversy with its graphic violence, dark themes, and the exploration of societal and moral decay. Manhunt was developed by Rockstar North and released in 2003. It's an extremely infamous and controversial action stealth video game known for its graphic violence and dark themes. The game's story centers around James Earl Cash, a death row inmate who finds himself unwillingly cast in a deadly game orchestrated by the figure known as the Director. The game begins with journalist Mel Powers reporting on the execution of our character, James L. Cash. However, Cash's execution is a sham. He's been sedated and awakens to find himself at the mercy of the Director, who communicates to him through an earpiece. The Director promises Cash his freedom in exchange for participating in his games. Cash must eliminate gang members, referred to as hunters, across various locations in Castle City, all whilst being filmed by CCTV to create the Director's dream snuff film. Cash's journey takes him through a series of derelict and dangerous environments, each controlled by different gangs. There's the Hoods, which are Cash's first adversaries, which consist of criminals and corrupt police officers. The Cerberus, which is the Director's personal security unit, who are also responsible for moving Cash between locations. There's the Skins, which is a Nazi skinhead gang. The War Dogs, which is a sadistic paramilitary group that kidnaps Cash's family, which just only serves to inspire his violence. There's also the Innocents, which is an outlaw gang divided into Hispanic occultists known as the Scullies, and the psychopathic Babyfaces, and the Smileys, which are a group of former asylum inmates. Cash's quest for survival quickly turns into a quest of vengeance when the Director betrays him, ordering the War Dogs to murder his family. The remaining War Dogs attempt to recapture Cash, but he manages to eliminate them and team up with a journalist who reveals the Director's true identity, being Lionel Starkweather, a former film producer turned snuff film ring operator. The final act of the game sees Cash navigating through a police and SWAT-infested city to reach Starkweather's mansion, before finally killing Starkweather himself. The game concludes with the journalist exposing Starkweather's crimes and the police's compliance, while Cash's fate remains unknown. Manhunt faced several bans and restrictions in several countries due to its violence, including being made entirely illegal in Australia. Cry of Fear is a psychological horror game, originally released as a mod for Half-Life. However, in 2013 it became a standalone game due to its popularity. The game follows Simon, a young man, who wakes up in a gloomy alley after being hit by a car. He finds himself in a nightmarish version of a Swedish city, filled with darkness and a sense of foreboding. As Simon attempts to find his way home, he encounters a series of deformed and terrifying monsters, with each encounter being more disturbing than the last. The plot thickens as Simon explores various locations in the city, from decrepit apartment buildings to a subway station. Each location presents its own set of challenges and horrors, with the environment becoming increasingly surreal and menacing, reflecting Simon's mental and emotional turmoil. Simon's journey begins in confusion and fear as he tries to navigate the hostile city. His first major challenge comes when he finds a man who had texted him earlier in the game for help, now dead in a bathtub. The discovery marks the beginning of Simon's descent into the game's nightmarish world. A significant emotional moment for Simon occurs when he meets Sophie, his childhood friend and unrequited love, standing on the edge of a rooftop. After Simon confesses his love for her, Sophie rejects him, with their encounter ending tragically with Sophie's suicide. Throughout the game, Simon faces various choices, such as whether or not to confront or flee from the monster known as Carcass, and whether or not to turn over his gun to a doctor he encounters late in the game. These two decisions influence the story's direction and lead to completely different endings. The game's climax is in Simon's house, where it's revealed that the entire story was a product of Simon's imagination. After his car accident, Simon is now wheelchair bound and depressed, and was advised by his therapist to write about his feelings. The horrifying journey and monsters represent Simon's inner battles and trauma, with the monster Carcass that seemed to be constantly following Simon, representing his declining mental state, and the doctor who you could turn your gun over to, representing Simon's therapist. Cry of Fear features multiple endings, each dependent on the player's choices throughout the game. If the monster Carcass wasn't killed, and Simon didn't give his gun to the doctor, in this ending Simon succumbs to his darkest thoughts, and feeling utterly hopeless and trapped in his own mind, he kills Sophie and his therapist, which is also followed by Simon taking his own life. His suicide note expresses his deep resentment and a desire for his body to haunt all those who find him. If Carcass again wasn't killed, and Simon does give the gun to the doctor, this ending sees Simon's unresolved feelings for Sophie leading him down a dark path. After killing Sophie, he commits suicide, and his suicide note reveals his twisted reasoning, as he believes he can now possess her forever, as he never got over his rejection. If Carcass was killed and Simon didn't give the gun to the doctor, Simon directs his anger and blame towards his therapist, whom he kills before killing himself. In this ending, his suicide note suggests that he believes his therapist's methods worsened his condition. He also expresses a wish that Sophie never learns of his actions. And if Carcass was killed and Simon did give the gun to the doctor, the ending presents a dramatic confrontation between Simon and his fictionalized book self. The real Simon, experiencing a mental breakdown, believes he's killing his imaginary counterpart. However, in reality, he fatally shoots 2 police officers. Simon is then admitted to a mental hospital under the care of his therapist, which is somehow probably the most hopeful out of these endings. We're now moving on to level 2 of the iceberg. Custer's Revenge was released in 1982 by Mystique for the Atari 2600, and is often called one of the worst games ever made. The game features a character modeled after General George Armstrong Custer, who fought in several wars against Native Americans, and the game's objective is really simple. The player controls a pixelated Custer, depicted with an exaggerated pencil, as he attempts to cross a field under arrow attack, to reach a naked Native American woman tied to a pole. Once you reach the pole, you mash the action button as fast as you can. The better you mash, the more points you earn, with the game restarting after getting 50 points. I'm not going to explain what mashing the action button does, as I'm sure you can use your imagination. The game is simple and repetitive, and was part of a series of adult-themed games released by the company, which sought to exploit the video game industry for sensationalized adult content. The development of Custer's Revenge did not involve any significant or technological gameplay innovations. Instead, it relied solely on its shocking content to generate sales and publicity, as Custer's Revenge faced legal challenges, protests, and calls for its ban. Though the game's designer, Joel Miller, said Custer was seducing the maiden and that she was a willing participant. Stuart Keston, president of America Multiple Industries, the company who published the game, stated, "Our objective is not to arouse, our objective is to entertain. When people play our games, we want them smiling and we want them laughing." Released on October 2014, the teaser trailer for Hatred was anything but ordinary.
My name is not important. What is important is what I'm going to do.
It portrayed the game's main character, expressing their disdain for humanity, gearing up to embark on what they called their genocidal crusade. In Hatred, you play as the antagonist, a disturbed man completely disillusioned with the world and humanity. Fueled by pure hatred, he embarks on a violent killing spree with one simple goal: to eradicate as many human lives as possible before he himself was taken down. The gameplay is uncompromisingly violent, and the game itself takes on an isometric point of view, with the objective being pretty straightforward: navigate through various levels from the suburban neighborhoods to police stations and exterminate every living soul. Hailing from Poland, Destructive Creations was relatively new to the gaming scene when they launched Hatred. In fact, Hatred was their debut title. The game was heavily inspired by the twin-stick shooters from the arcade era, but with an obvious and somewhat immature dark twist. The developers aimed to create a game that, in their words, avoided politeness, colourfulness, and any sort of philosophical undertones. They sought to create a game that served as a reminder of the industry's past as a rebellious medium and purely surface-level entertainment. Whilst the game and its trailer was designed to provoke, the CEO of Disruptive Creations expressed surprise at the scale of the reaction it received, as he firmly believed the game didn't cross any moral boundaries, asserting that those who disagreed could just choose not to play it. The team has often stated that they intended for Hatred to be a response to the trend of games becoming more politically correct, as their true aim was to push boundaries. Among actual players, reactions were divisive. While the game garnered a cult following of those who appreciated its no-holds-barred approach to violence, many felt it gratuitous, having very little impact other than the initial shock value. The mainstream media, often less forgiving than the specialized gaming outlets, called it the most
violent video game in history
and one of the most controversial games of all time. Hatred's dark themes even led to its temporary removal from Steam, although accompanied with a personal apology from Gabe Newell himself, who was later reinstated, citing an error in its removal. Hatred's physical release was not without controversy either. It became the first game to earn an adults-only rating from the ESRB, solely for its extreme violence. This made mainstream retail distribution in the United States nearly impossible, as major console manufacturers prohibit adult-only rated games on their platforms. Fast forwarding to June 1st, 2015, Hatred was finally released to the public. The game used Unreal Engine 4 to create its game world, and at the request of Epic Games, the developer of the Unreal Engine, the logo was removed from the game and trailer. And also, just before the game's release, Twitch announced a ban on all adult-only rated games, thereby prohibiting Hatred from being streamed on the platform. Left Behind Eternal Forces is a real-time strategy game developed by Left Behind Games in 2006. It's based on the popular Left Behind series of Christian apocalyptic fiction by Chris LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. The game combines religious themes with strategy gameplay, and it's set in the post-apocalyptic world following the biblical event of the Rapture. In Left Behind Eternal Forces, players find themselves in a post-Rapture New York City. According to the game's narrative inspired by Christian beliefs, the Rapture has taken all true believers to heaven, leaving the rest of the world to face the consequences. The player leads a group of tribulation forces, fighting against the Antichrist's army, known as the Global Community Peacekeepers. The gameplay involves building up a base, gathering resources, and recruiting and training units. Players must manage their own team of characters, each with specific skills and abilities. The game focuses not on just military strength, but also on spiritual warfare. Players need to maintain the faith of their units while combating enemy forces and completing various missions. One of the unique aspects of Left Behind Eternal Forces is its emphasis on non-violent options. While combat is a part of the game, players are also encouraged to use prayer and spiritual influence to sway enemies onto their side. However, Left Behind Eternal Forces generated controversy primarily due to its religious themes and the portrayal of spiritual warfare. Critics and some religious groups were concerned about the game's blending of violent strategy gameplay and religious content, debating on whether or not it's appropriate to mix the gameplay involving combat and conversion with the teachings of Christianity. The game also faced criticism for its portrayal of non-Christian characters, and the concept of converting or battling against them. I personally reviewed this aspect as potentially promoting religious intolerance, or just being plain divisive. Despite the controversy, the game found a niche audience amongst fans of the Left Behind series, and those interested in Christian-themed games. Left Behind Eternal Forces is not only a unique title on this iceberg, but just in video games in general. We're now moving on to level 3 of the iceberg. Hong Kong 97 is a 2D shoot-'em-up game, infamously known for its controversial and bizarre content, developed by Happysoft Limited, also known as the Japanese writer Kurosawa and his friend who helped him make the game. It was released in 1995 for the Super Famicom, which is the Japanese version of the SNES. The game gained notoriety not just for its political themes, but its extremely shocking content. The game is set in the year 1997, around the time of the transfer of Hong Kong's sovereignty from the United Kingdom to China. The player controls a character named Chin, who is for some reason described as a relative of Bruce Lee. Chin's mission is to eliminate an influx of people from mainland China, represented as endless waves of enemies, and ultimately defeat a resurrected Tao Xiaoping, which is a misspelled reference to the then Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping. Hong Kong 97 is really simplistic in its gameplay. The player as Chin shoots incoming enemies while avoiding being hit. The game features a single level that repeats indefinitely with no variation in gameplay or objectives. It's known for being extremely challenging, with many players unable to survive for more than a few seconds. Now, the game gained significant controversy for several reasons. Its portrayal of Chinese people and the use of a real-life political figure as a villain was seen as highly insensitive and offensive, but the real reason people still know of Hong Kong 97 is because it includes a real photo of a still unidentified dead body as a game over screen, which is obviously going to shock and disturb many players, especially considering with how often you'll die in the game. The game has a very amateurish and crude design with poorly designed graphics and extremely repetitive music. Hong Kong 97 is remembered far more for its notoriety rather than its gameplay quality. Now this one is a double entry. Quest for Bush and Quest for Saddam are first-person shooter games known for their political content and controversial nature. Quest for Saddam, created by Quadrilla Entertainment, was released in 2003, while Quest for Bush, a mod of the former, was released later by the Global Islamic Media Front, an Al-Qaeda propaganda organization. These games gained attention for their direct reference to real-world political figures, and obviously being directly in contest with each other. Quest for Saddam is a low-budget game set against the backdrop of the Iraq War. In the game, players go out on a mission to capture the Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein. The gameplay involves navigating various environments in Iraq, battling Iraqi soldiers and other enemies, with the ultimate goal of finding and capturing Saddam. The game was criticized for its simplistic portrayal of complex political and military situations, as it was an obvious form of propaganda, trivializing warfare as a whole. Quest for Bush, also known as Night of Bush Capturing, is a modded version of Quest for Saddam released by an Al-Qaeda propaganda group. The game's narrative was altered to target the then US President George W. Bush. In this version, players assume the role of a jihadist fighter, with the final objective being to capture or kill the president. The mod obviously completely flipped the original game, turning it into a tool for anti-American propaganda, whilst Quest for Saddam was criticized for its oversimplification and potential insensitivity regarding the Iraq War. Quest for Bush faced even more severe criticism. Station.exe is a relatively obscure and mysterious video game. Well, I don't even know if you can call it a video game. It's known for its enigmatic origins and connection to internet folklore, particularly within the community of the X-board on 4chan. The game has gained infamy among enthusiasts of creepy and unconventional games, partly due to its eerie atmosphere and the mystery surrounding its creation and purpose. Station.exe reportedly originated from a disc found at a tech expo in Rochester, New York, an anonymous user claiming their father purchased a CD case containing 2 discs. While the first disc had engineering software, the second unmarked disc held the game Station.exe. The game is believed to have been created with Blender, and its subsequent exploration has led to various speculations and theories about its purpose and origins. The player navigates through a completely blank environment and is pursued by floating faces with ambient noises adding to the eerie atmosphere. If you're caught by one of these faces, the game instantly closes. One of the most intriguing aspects of Station.exe is the discovery of numbers within the game, which some players interpreted as coordinates. These coordinates supposedly lead to a real building in Russia, which mirrors the structure of the building found in-game. This element has led to speculation about the game being part of an ARG, though no one has actually yet to go to the coordinates in Russia. The enigmatic nature of Station.exe extends beyond its gameplay. When people reportedly dissected the game's code, they claimed to find a variety of unusual elements and connections to other internet forums, and a creepy password-protected website that still no one knows the purpose of. The Guy Game is a game that garnered significant controversy and is highly illegal today. Developed by Top Heavy Studios and released in 2004, the Guy Game is set up as a trivia quiz game, where players answer questions while watching live action footage. The game features young women, often referred to as the hotties, who participate in various challenges. The game features young women, often referred to as the hotties, who garnered still significant controversy and is highly illegal today. Developed by Top Heavy Studios and released in 2004, the Guy Game is set up as a trivia quiz game, where players answer questions while watching live action footage. The game features young women, often referred to as the hotties, who participate in various challenges and are filmed in locations like beaches during spring break. As players progress through the game by answering trivia questions, the live action camera footage includes scenes of the women revealing themselves if the player answers the questions correctly. The game features a rating system that tracks the player's success, with higher scores unlocking more explicit content. The Guy Game became infamous for obvious reasons. The game faced criticism for objectifying women and for its explicit content, as it was accused of promoting a sexist and demeaning portrayal of women. However, the controversy truly escalated when it was discovered that one of the women featured in the game was underage at the time of filming. This revelation led to legal actions and the game being pulled from shelves in several regions, due to it being considered CP. Lostboy.exe is an obscure video game that gained notoriety in online communities, particularly on 4chan. The game itself is stylistically similar to the classic Windows 3D maze screensaver. You basically have to navigate through maze-like environments with a first-person perspective. The game's design is relatively simple, but it's distinguished by its incorporation of strange and unsettling satanic imagery within the maze's walls. Lost Boy initially gained attention due to a version of the game that was widely distributed that contained a virus. The infected version, which first spread on 4chan, was made for stealing personal information from players, including things like passwords and credit card information. The presence of the virus, coupled with the game's creepy imagery, added to its mystique and made it a topic of caution and intrigue. However, fairly recently, it was realized that the virus-laden version of Lost Boy was not created by the original developer, but was instead modified by an unknown third party. Somewhat recently, the original version of lostboy.exe was uncovered. This version, free of any malicious software, offers players a chance to experience the game as it was initially intended by its creator. The virus-free version is essentially a slightly eerie horror game, focusing more on creating an unsettling atmosphere rather than being a fully fledged game. We're now moving on to level 4. Super Columbine Massacre RPG was developed by Danny Ladone and released in 2005. The game is a role-playing simulation that recreates one of the most tragic domestic attacks in American history. The game's narrative closely follows the real-life events leading up to and including the event itself, focusing on the perspectives of the shooters being Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. The game starts with a depiction of Eric Harris being woken up by his mother on the morning of April 20th, 1999. Harris then calls Dylan Klebold so they can meet to finalize their plans for the attack. In the game, Harris and Klebold plant propane bombs inside the building. When the bombs fail to detonate as planned, they decide to proceed with their attack nonetheless. The game allows players to control the characters as they navigate the school, with the number of victims being determined by the player's actions. The sequence ends with the characters turning their weapons on themselves, followed by a montage of real and fictional images, including photos of the shooters and scenes of mourning. The game takes a surreal turn in the second half, depicting Dylan Klebold's journey through hell. Klebold encounters and battles demons and characters from the video game Doom, reflecting the shooter's interest in violent video games, and the mainstream media's focus on Doom's potential influence on the teen. In Hell, Klebold and later Harris meet various fictional characters like Pikachu and Bart Simpson, and historical figures like Malcolm X and John Lennon for whatever reason. The game culminates in a battle against Satan, whose sprite was just ripped from South Park. After defeating Satan, the characters are congratulated and the game concludes by returning to the school, where a press conference is held. This segment of the game includes dialogue that directly references the actual event and satirizes the political and media reactions to the massacre. The game critiques various aspects such as gun control debates, religious fundamentalism, and the scapegoating of Marilyn Manson in video games in the aftermath of the shooting. JFK Reloaded is a video game that stirred significant controversy upon its release in 2004. Developed by Traffic Software, it's a simulation game that aims to recreate the assassination of US President John F. Kennedy in 1963. The game's stated intention was to prove the findings of the Warren Commission, which concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in the assassination. The game is set on November 22nd, 1963, in Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas, where President Kennedy was assassinated. Players assume the role of Lee Harvey Oswald, positioned in the Texas School Book Depository. The objective is to replicate Oswald's shots as accurately as possible, based on the Warren Commission's report. Players are given a rifle and are tasked with shooting at the motorcade that drives through Dealey Plaza. The game features a detailed physics engine designed to realistically simulate the reactions of the president and the other individuals in the motorcade when hit by bullets. The primary gameplay involves aiming and firing at the moving motorcade, and attempting to recreate the bullet trajectories and wounds as reported by the Warren Commission. After each attempt, players receive a score based on how closely their shots match with the historical account, including factors like bullet trajectory, timing, and the reactions of the characters in game. JFK Reloaded was met with immediate controversy due to its sensitive subject matter. Critics and the public widely condemned the game for allowing players to reenact a national tragedy, with many viewing it as tasteless and disrespectful. The Kennedy family expressed dismay at the game's release, and it faced criticism from various political and public figures. Despite the developers' claim that the game was intended as an educational tool to validate the Warren Commission's findings, the nature of the game led to accusations of exploiting a tragic event for entertainment and profit. VTech Rampage is a video game created by the independent developer Ryan Lambourne, released shortly after the tragic Virginia Tech shooting in 2007. VTech Rampage is set in a simplified representation of the Virginia Tech campus. In the game, players take on the role of the shooter Sung-Hyu Choi, who perpetrated the Virginia Tech massacre. The gameplay involves navigating through the campus and enacting the events of the shooting. The game's objective is to mimic the real-life tragedy, a choice that led to immense controversy. The game's graphics and mechanics are rudimentary, reflecting its status as an independent and poorly made game. The game was obviously made to exploit the recent and painful tragedy, with it obviously being highly disrespectful to the victims and their families. Ryan Lambourne, the game's developer, faced intense personal backlash, with many accusing him of seeking attention and profiting from a horrific event. His response to the controversy included an offer to remove the game from distribution if he received $2,000 in donations, but not before retracting his offer of removing the game, and later admitting it was all a joke, aimed at critics who demanded the game's removal. KZ Manager, with KZ being shorthand for the German word for concentration camp, is a simulation management game where players are put in charge of a concentration camp during World War II. As you can imagine, the game has been widely condemned for its insensitive and inappropriate portrayal of the Holocaust, and has been made illegal in several countries, with Germany being among them. Upon launch in the game, you're greeted with a simple question. The game asks you how you view Turkish people, and you have 4 options to pick from. Option 1 says you view them as a helpful person. Option 2, you view them as a dumb person. And 4 says something along the lines of that you only view them as welfare parasites claiming their free monthly check. If you choose either of the kind options, the game closes immediately. In KZ Manager, players assume the role of a concentration camp manager during the Holocaust. The game's objective is to effectively manage the camp, which involves exploiting prisoners for labor, dealing with prisoner deaths, and managing the camp's finances. There's no overarching objective or real goal to the game. The game presents the activities in a cold, managerial style, devoid of any empathy or historical context. We're now on level 5. I need to issue a serious content warning from here on out, as some of these games are fairly disgusting. 2002's Ethnic Cleansing was developed by the American white supremacist organization, the National Alliance, and was published by its subsidiary record label, Resistance Records. Ethnic Cleansing was created as a part of a broader, ideological push by the National Alliance, a group well documented for their white supremacist views. The game was designed to be provocative, to generate shock and controversy, whilst disseminating a white supremacist message. The game itself was entirely unremarkable in its mechanics and graphics.
The enemies shoot at you from outside of your view zone. It's just cheap.
Rather, it was the horrendous thematic content that made it so infamous. The game is a first-person shooter featuring 2 levels, where the player, embodying either a skinhead or Klansman, is tasked with killing stereotypical African-American, Latino, and Jewish enemies. The final boss is a fictionalized version of Ariel Sharon, the then Prime Minister of Israel, which obviously just adds to the anti-Semitic views propagated by the game's creators. In keeping with the game's theme, black characters were designed to resemble apes and emit monkey-like sounds when shot. Jewish characters are clothed as Orthodox Jews and shout "Oy vey." Mexicans, also on the receiving end of the stereotyping, exclaim "I need to take a siesta now" after being shot. The provocative content was a deliberate attempt to further propagate the racial bias and hatred, and to quicken the pace at which the developers' long-awaited race war would begin. The game was launched on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, being the 21st of January 2002, which was obviously a calculated move intended to incite further controversy. It was sold for $14.88, another nod to the white supremacist 14-word slogan, and the numbers 88, which stand for HH, which I'm sure you can figure out. Many organizations took issue with the game, and Ethnic Cleansing has been repeatedly ranked as one of the most controversial games ever made, and it just serves as a reminder of the capacity of video games to be used as propaganda. Euphoria is a Japanese visual novel developed by Clock Up and released in 2011. It's an adult-oriented game that blends psychological horror, mystery, and very explicit scenes. Euphoria is set up in a mysterious enclosed environment where the main character Kazuke, whose name I probably mispronounced, wakes up without any recollection of how he got there. He finds himself in a blank white room along with 6 women, some of whom he recognizes as peers from his school. As you can expect from this deep in the iceberg, none of the women are of age, excluding Natsuki, who is an English teacher at the school. Euphoria primarily involves reading text and making choices that influence the direction of the story, depending on the decisions made by the player. These decisions can lead to drastically different outcomes, some of which are extremely disturbing. The story starts with all our characters being confused by the abnormal situation. when a mysterious voice suddenly announces to them that the game will now begin. The game unfolds as a series of escape-like room scenarios, where the characters must solve puzzles and make decisions to survive. The first puzzle involves Kazuke, our character, and the only male in the group. He is named the group's Unlocker, and must select one of the women as his keyhole. I think you get the idea. One of the girls, being Mayako, isn't too excited by the idea and starts to panic, causing the lights to be cut out by the mysterious game master. Once the blinding lights turn back on, Mayako is strapped to an electric chair and is eliminated from the game. Though, as you can come to expect from a game this far down the iceberg, our character enjoys the display and becomes more ready to become the unlocker to one of his unwilling keyholes. Euphoria was developed by Japanese game studio Clock Up, known for creating adult visual novels with dark and often controversial themes. The game was initially released in Japan and later translated into English due to its popularity among visual novel enthusiasts. Euphoria has a decent sized following among visual novel fans who appreciate its complex narrative. The developers Clock Up have some other equally disturbing visual novels that have often seen praise for their writing in these fan circles. 177 is a Japanese video game that was released in 1986 by Macadamia Soft, and was tastefully named after the Japanese legal code for doing a certain thing without the consent of the other person. The player controls a male character who pursues a female character with the intent of assaulting them. The gameplay involves navigating through various levels, avoiding obstacles and other characters to catch the female character. The good ending is if the player catches the female character. The game will then play a graphic and explicit cutscene that has been the primary source of the game's controversy, after which you'll see another scene of our character and the woman married. The second ending, or what people call the bad ending, happens if you fail to catch the woman before she reaches her house and gets you arrested. The game was obviously criticised for promoting and trivialising sexual violence against women, and it was seen as deeply problematic not only for its graphic content, but also for the way it objectified women and treated a serious crime as a form of entertainment. 177 was released during a time where the video game industry was still in its early stages of exploring adult themes. However, the game crossed the ethical boundaries by centering its gameplay on a terrible act. It was later recalled and re-released with slightly more conservative scenes and gameplay. As seems to be the theme with the lower tiers, Lolita Syndrome was developed in Japan by Katsumi Mochizuki, an individual who at the time was an illustrator for children's educational comics. What I find to be especially abhorrent is that the game was published by the company Enix, which later went on to become Square Enix, a massive game publishing company. The game was the winner of Enix's second biannual Game Hobby Program contest, and thus was sponsored by them, which I just think speaks to the slightly more than strange culture regarding Lolita at the time. Released in 1983, the game takes place within a house called Mason Lolita, where underage girls, or lollies, run around the house without clothes, and have to play games which involve narrowly avoiding death. The player must solve puzzles in order to save the cartoon girls from their violent deaths, and to get your reward, which is to see the cartoons without any clothes. The game was not originally advertised as containing gore, and this element was only hinted at on the game's packaging. The game opens showing the 5 doors of Mason Lolita. Each door represents a minigame that you can take part in. The first door is the buzzsaw room. It's simple. A girl is strapped to a table and a circular buzzsaw is slowly moving. The player must choose the correct key from 10 keys in order to release the girl. After 5 incorrect guesses, the buzzsaw reaches the girl, who you then have to watch perish. If the player is successful in freeing the girl, you can guess what the reward is. The next game, the password room, is probably somehow the most tame. A sleeping girl is lying on the bed, and the game provides hints to the player in order to type the correct Japanese word in order to wake her up and have her take her clothes off. And the rock paper scissors room hosts a very simple game. The player plays a game of rock paper scissors against the girl, who removes a piece of their clothing each time the player wins. The final room doesn't contain a game, but rather a gallery, where the player can view images of all the cartoon girls. Lolita Syndrome was released during a time in Japan where Lolita culture was extremely popular, and thus developed a cult following with Japanese otaku and game collectors during the time of its original release. In 1985, the creator of the game developed a sequel called My Lolita, which was far tamer and less violent, but did not sell nearly as well as its predecessor. Zog's Nightmare was developed and released by the National Socialist Movement, a neo-Nazi organization in the United States. The game is steeped in racist, anti-Semitic and hate-fueled ideologies, and is the spiritual successor to ethnic cleansing. The title Zog's Nightmare refers to the acronym ZOG, which stands for Zionist Occupied Government, a term used in those sorts of circles to allege that the government is secretly controlled by Jews. In the game, players assume the role of characters fighting against various groups and individuals that the game developers view as enemies. including different races and ethnicities other than white people that are supposedly controlled by Jewish people. The gameplay mechanics are typical of a first-person shooter, where players navigate through various levels, engaging in combat against enemies depicted in a highly offensive and derogatory manner. The game's objectives revolve around violent actions against these caricatured enemies, underpinned by the game's racist and anti-Semitic themes. As I said, the game is very much inspired by ethnic cleansing and follows the same exact format. Due to its content, the game has not been widely distributed and is generally only available through very niche channels. Demonophobia is another horror-themed game, known for its extreme content and controversial nature. Developed by an individual known as Sakuma K, it's a Japanese freeware game that could be classified as survival horror. Demonophobia revolves around a young girl named Xiaomu who finds herself trapped in a hellish otherworldly dimension filled with grotesque creatures and constant threats. The game's primary focus is on survival, with Xiaomu attempting to navigate through this terrifying environment, where you can often see mutilated or hanging corpses, as well as fleshy creatures composed of young women. The game is notorious for its graphic depictions of violence and gore. Xiaomu can die in a multitude of ways, each more gruesome than the last, with most of them including the alien-like monsters forcing themselves upon the not-of-age Xiaomu in different ways. And the deaths are depicted with detailed and explicit animations. The actual gameplay in Demonophobia is a combination of puzzle solving, exploration, and trial and error, though even the puzzles aren't without the disgustingness. As for instance, one requires Xiaomu to urinate at a certain time, otherwise she'll become infected and die. One of the distinctive features of the game is its high difficulty level. It provides little guidance, forcing players to often die, witness the animations, and repeat the scenario. Sakuma K, the developer, released the game as freeware, making it available for download without charge. The game's development and release seem to have been a solo effort, with little information regarding Sakuma K's identity or motivations for creating the game. The game has become somewhat of a cult classic in certain circles, particularly amongst fans of horror games and those interested in the far more extreme and obscure end of the spectrum. Now, I think this next game was one of the worst on this list. I think that because this game wasn't made by a little indie dev or one guy on a 4chan thread. This game was made by a proper game studio and was distributed and sold commercially for a number of years. Rate Play, which was developed by Japanese game developers Illusion, who are also the developers of Sexy Beach, which we featured earlier. And while Sexy Beach may have been controversial, it was only Rate Play that garnered significant international attention. The game was released in 2006, and it starts with our character, Masaya Kimura, being arrested for assaulting a woman. However, he is quickly released from custody and seeks revenge on the woman, Aoi, who reported him. As the game progresses, he decides to not only target the 17-year-old Aoi for his plan for revenge, but also her younger sister, 12-year-old Manika, and their widowed mother, 42-year-old Yuko. The game's plotline is told through a visual novel style format, however the more interactive scenes that the player controls are where things get much worse. After our character stalks 12-year-old Manika onto a train, the core gameplay starts. Using the mouse to simulate Kimura's hand, you can move your mouse over different parts of the girl to get different reactions. The ultimate goal of the sequence is to fill what's called the arousal meter on screen, which fills out depending on where you touch them. But it somehow gets worse. After enough cursor movement, they eventually lose their clothes and will shamefully cover themselves with their hands. The game follows the same loop of stalking and assaulting until you eventually corner and capture all three women. Once captured, our character Kimura reveals his ultimate plan to make them all subservient to him. Despite the mother Yuko's desperate pleas to spare her daughters in exchange for her compliance, Kimura makes it clear he has zero intention of releasing them. Now, the game has two equally strange endings that both result in Kimura's death. The black ending, as it's called, ends in Kimura impregnating either one of the three women and ultimately deciding to keep the child. A few days later, Kimura is at the subway station when he falls onto the train tracks and is hit by a moving train. And perhaps the even weirder red ending results in the game showing a scene of Aoi brandishing a knife which she uses to ultimately end Kimura's life, also hysterically laughing. The game ends with Aoi being questioned by the police for Kimura's death. Now, the game's reception is a tale of cultural contrasts and differing sensibilities, as the world both in Japan and abroad thought extremely differently of the game. In Japan, the initial reception of the game, like many of Illusion's releases, was somewhat muted. Illusion, after all, have produced many adult-themed games, and the Japanese gaming community, particularly those indulged in erotic games, or eroge as they're called, viewed it as just another addition to the genre. However, it wasn't until 3 years later, in 2009, when the game began circulating internationally, notably via online platforms like Amazon, that the controversy truly started. Keith Vars, a British MP, brought the issue into British Parliament after discovering that the game was being sold on Amazon, despite not being officially distributed or supported outside of Japan. Amazon then removed the game from sale on its website as a result. In May of the same year, the pressure reached its peak when the Ethics Organization of Computer Software, which is the Japanese rating organization for adult games, restricted the sale and production of the game, effectively banning it globally, including in Japan. Though the restrictions didn't stop there, Australia completely criminalized the game's distribution due to a campaign led by the Women's Forum of Australia. In Argentina, the game ranks as the only video game to be illegal, and even the US Supreme Court took note, with Justice Samuel Alito using it as an example of the base themes that the video game industry was willing to exploit. Amid the backlash, some even defended the game, arguing that while it's distasteful, it's not fundamentally different from other games that involve violence and murder. Illusion in all of this was bewildered by the international response, and reiterated that the game was in complete compliance with Japanese laws and had never been intended for sale outside of Japan. However, due to the controversy, Illusion removed all references to the game from their website and ceased its distribution entirely. The game's infamy had an immediate effect on several other Japanese erotic game publishers, prompting them to ban all foreigners from their websites. Companies like Minori, Naval, and Visual Arts banned foreign IP addresses and even went as far to tell foreigners to move to Japan if they wanted to play their games. These actions obviously led to criticisms of xenophobia within the eroge community. Despite all the controversy, Illusion continues to produce adult-themed games. Notable titles like the creatively named Honey Select and VR Kanojo emerged, leveraging enhancements in VR. Fortunately, these games are slightly more legal in their themes. But the key question is, did the game tarnish Illusion's reputation irreparably? Well, the game did attract widespread condemnation, especially internationally. Within the adult gaming niche, Illusion still remains a recognized name. Splatter School is a Japanese video game known for its extreme violence. It was developed by indie game creator Just USA, and it's a side-scrolling game that combines elements of horror, gore, and survival. The game has gained notoriety for its graphic content, and is often discussed in the context of extreme horror games. Splatter School is set in a high school environment that turns nightmarish. The player takes on the role of an extremely young female student who must navigate through the school whilst being pursued by alien-like creatures. Though the most disturbing part of the game has to do with your character herself. Every time you take damage, you lose an item of clothing until you're fully nude. And then once you finally lose all your health and die, you are subjected to some of the worst death animations I've ever seen, with some of them involving multiple of the aliens forcing themselves on your character. The school is designed to be maze-like, with various classrooms, corridors, and hidden areas that the player must explore. The gameplay itself involves exploration, puzzle solving, and just general evasion, as the primary objective is to survive and escape the school. Now, Splatter School and Demonophobia are extremely similar, as they're both side-scrolling gory games made in Japan. I don't think one is worse than the other. They both feature extremely gory and gruesome death animations, and are thematically depraved. In the game Fun, the game opens up with a screen reading that this game was made by a demented person, which is definitely accurate. The game first takes us through a red environment and we get introduced to our character. He tells us a story, saying since that he was young, he's always wanted to force himself upon people, starting with all the girls at his school and now his own mother. After reading his story, you can drop into a long winding hole, and at the bottom there's a real photo of a headless woman, with text overlaid on top of it saying "Hello Mum." Clicking the photo takes you into a room with the mother, who looks to be decomposed already, even though you can still talk to her. You basically insult her before ordering her to do something that I can't describe. The game then cuts to the decomposed mother laying on the floor with text simply reading, If you click on the mother, you're transported to what's called the pleasure room, where you have a choice. The game asks if you're a psychopath and if you want to see more. You have two options, being yes and yes. Inside the psycho room holds some of the worst imagery I've honestly ever seen. There's real gore of women in terrible scenarios. I can't even begin to describe a single one of these images without my channel being entirely nuked. But just know you don't ever want to play this game. The game has garnered somewhat of a cult following despite its terrible contents, with people praising the game and of course saying they're having fun. Sad Satan is a video game that emerged from the depths of the internet. Made famous for its disturbing content, it first appeared in 2015 on the YouTube channel Obscure Horror Corner, with some people thinking that they themselves created the game. The game itself is a first-person game that takes players through dark, maze-like corridors with minimalistic graphics. The game's environment is eerie and disorientating, with a clear lack of objective or narrative. As you walk through the maze, you'll encounter various disturbing audio clips, like edited versions of Hitler's speech, or distorted screaming sounds, and images that will suddenly flash, including references to historical events, random disturbing imagery, and for what it's most known for, an uncensored image of PC backwards. The gameplay is largely exploratory, with players wandering through these unsettling corridors while being subjected to a series of audio-visual dissonances and disturbing content. The lack of context or explanation for these elements contributes to the game's mysterious and unsettling nature. Sad Satan was reportedly discovered on the dark web, a part of the internet obviously known for its anonymity and subsequent illicit activities. The YouTube channel Obscure Horror Corner claimed to have found the game on a dark web forum, which just further adds to its mystique. The game garnered attention not only for its bizarre and disturbing content, but for the fact that some versions of the game were reported to contain even more illegal images and even malware, making it even more dangerous to download and play. This entry is a little different. As mentioned earlier, Eric Harris was one of 2 perpetrators involved in the attack on Columbine High School, which ended up being one of the worst shootings in modern American history. Obviously the news and such talked a lot about the attacks at the time, and one of the things they focused on was Harris's enjoyment of the game Doom, and the possibility that Doom inspired the attack. Harris didn't simply enjoy playing Doom, he also enjoyed making custom maps for the game, of which he made several, with most of them being empty deathmatch maps that are meant to be enjoyed with a friend. Like one of his maps, Bricks, where he thanks his good friend Dylan Klebold for helping him playtest the map. But one that really sticks out and is particularly disturbing is UACLabs.WAD. UAC Labs was made in 1996, which would be 3 years before the incident, and is said to be modelled after the high school itself, and it's the only one of his maps that features enemies that try to fight you. You start outside a building only with a pistol, and gradually move inside where you find a shotgun. Some people think the map was created so the two could strategize and plan out their attack more effectively, though that is merely speculation. Though you can still find and play most of Harris's maps today, 3 of them you still can't, being Thrasher, Assault, and Real Doom. The FBI permanently scrubbed these maps from the internet and still no one knows why. The fact that UAC Labs wasn't taken down yet these 3 were, leads me to believe that these maps harbored something even worse. And thanks for watching guys, this was my first video so I'd appreciate your feedback.
First video, goddamn, you're doing good. Fun? How gameplay look? Keep replay.
So what's going on, my dedicated bros? It's me, Luigi Kid, and today I'm gonna play a game that is called Fun. This game was made by a demented person. It's not gonna help you. Be careful and have fun. So I even heard that this game is even scarier and creepier than the game Sad Satan, which is a game from the dark web. I really don't know how I'm going to play this, but I heard that this is really insane, and if you like this insane shit and my insane videos, then make sure to hit the thumbs up button, but I can't guarantee you that this is going to be comfortable for you, so this definitely will feature dark themes, so be careful as the game says. Have fun. By the way, fun is the name of the game. And I already got a very, very weird feeling. To click? Yeah. Oh my god, what? Does this game have jump scares? Want to hear a fun story? When I was young, I wanted to rape. What? You want to rape all the girls in school? It's very hard to read all of this because it's so blurry. Fuck all of them. Every day, saw my mother naked. What the fuck is going on? My father killed himself. Okay, guys, this is already fucked up. Who would create a game like that? And I killed my mother. Why'd you do this to her? Then I raped her. Dude! Okay! What? And it was fun. Why?
I did.
Guys, I said it. Watch it with caution. Watch this with caution. This is even worse than Sad Satan. What the fuck? Oh my god, am I falling down somewhere? Where the heck even am I? Oh, what is this? Hello, Mom. Touch her. Oh! What the fuck? Choose. Fuck off, Mom. You look great today, Mom. You look great, Mom. Oh my god, I don't know what I done. Why are you so mean, son? Suck my dick? Slap her? What the fuck? This is my mom? Please, son. Fuck my dead body. Why should I do that? What the fuck? Are you having fun? I don't know what the hell is going on. Are you a psycho? I am. I want to see something. Yes? Yes? This is the pleasure room, where your dreams come true. It looks like you meet my mother. It's a good dead mother, and she fucks really well. Do I need to choose between yes or yes? How about no? There is no... Dude. What am I supposed to do? Oh! What the fuck? What the hell am I? This is... Those are real pictures! I can't show you that! Oh my god! Okay. I rarely get terrified like that, but... Right now I'm really fucking terrified. Do you have fun? I'm actually pretty afraid to say no. For now I'm just gonna say yes, and then I might restart the game and say no. First you have to grab a piece of paper and write in it, I'm having fun. Should I really do that? I'm not sure. Okay. It's a small piece of paper, but I did it. Next step, and set it to do you have fun at hotmail.com? How about no? What the F? What the fucking hell is going on? What is going on? I'm really afraid right now, guys. What is happening to me? There's some kind of elevator. Can I enter this? The controls are like really buggy right now. Come on, open this, or... Is that the end? Holy fuck. Honestly, I don't know what I just witnessed, guys. This game left me speechless. Okay, what if I would say I don't have fun playing this? I bet I'm gonna get jump scared or some shit. No matter what is happening, it's definitely something bad. Oh fuck, and I really wrote the shit down that I had fun. I need to touch her. Okay, we are back here. What if I say fuck off, mom? What if I say suck my dick? Of course I'm gonna suck your cock so hard. What the fuck? Now I need to slap her. Fucking goodness. What the fucking hell is going on in this game? Okay, I'm not having fun. Do you have fun? No. Do you have fun? I said I don't have fun. Bro, seriously. Why is this turning red? No! Do you fucking have fun? No! Oh shit. Do I need to click on play? I clicked on it. Ah! Fuck! Yeah. Honestly, I'm so terrified right now. I don't know if you can see the goosebumps, but this was definitely one of the fucking weirdest games I've ever seen and ever played in my whole fucking life. I think I need to catch some fresh air now and take a breath, because that shit was really insane. I don't know why I just played this. I just heard it was a dark themed game, similar to Set Satan. Now I'm actually regretting playing this. Probably created by some kind of psychopath, so what the fuck. Still hope you guys somehow enjoyed this fucking weird and creepy video. If you did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you think that was really fucking crazy, then also let me know down in the comment section below. And I would say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, palm it if you haven't already, to rate the video or to leave
Whatever, I guess so. Tak ambil lagi tu. Oh,
What's up, guys? It's day 25 waiting for GTA 6. I'm going out against you today and it's still early here. The sun is not out yet. So I will try to do some stuff that will help me keep me safe.
Macam-macam lah bang. Jangan buat apa-apa.
Assalamualaikum guys, kembali lagi bersama saya Arboni di channel Arboni HZ. Oke, jadi saya nggak perlu kasih tahu kalian panjang-panjang. Kalian udah pasti tahu saya menyamar seperti siapa sekarang ini, oke? Jadi malam ini kita bakal menggoreng-goreng orang di Skrewel. Kita bakal lihat reaksi mereka ketika gua menyamar, oke? Dan kita akan liatin, pokoknya liatin aja lah, oke? Nah, buat kalian yang belum follow Instagram gua, silakan follow di Ardoni_HZ. Langsung saja lah kita ke video, man. Let's go.
What the? No, well, you actually did. Alright, that's actually. No. That's what I'm doing. Are you alive? Gates versus Robert
Your army is so strong, bro.
You know, like they aren't the warriors.
I don't know.
You probably don't get.
Oh my god. Don't say that, bro.
Copy Hitler.
You need to check up in hospital.
If I was this, well, I was gonna.
Moral.
I don't know what.
You have no moral. I have.
Bro, you look like a fucking Hitler, honestly. Did you know Hitler has a
Which forest do you live?
forest?
Yeah. Which forest?
In your mom's ass. The big. No, your mom.
Biggest monkey live in forest, biggest monkey. You look like a monkey.
How can you talk about monkey? Look at your videos. They're so fucking big. Don't talk about mammals. Send your IP.
Go to forest, bro. Go to forest. You live in forest. Ngomong aja nggak ada yang ini. Bullshit.
Yo, imagine you're on stream right now. I'm
not streaming.
I'm humbling.
I just record this. So I wanna show this.
Alright.
I wanna upload this on social media, and you can see.
Alright, go ahead.
You're gonna viral, bro.
I bet. I wanna see you viral, bro. I'm gonna go viral.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, you can see on YouTube or TikTok or.
Can you post like everything without like editing it? You're just getting humbled. So. Oh my god, you.
Assalamualaikum, Habibi.
Hi, thank you, Hitler.
Oh, I'm not Hitler.
I'm a Jewish.
Are you Jewish? But you have on your head.
I know. I take it this.
You look beautiful, bro. You look handsome. What?
I will go to Gaza. I'm in army.
Oh, you are me.
Yeah.
Your army?
I see you very well.
Tolong.
Dia tahu.
This is good.
Lazing.
Okay. You eat that?
It is your army, bro.
No, me the army man. So you Hitler, yes?
Huh?
You Hitler?
Yeah, I am the next Hitler.
Okay. Okay, you think you're strong, yes?
What is this?
This is Vivi.
Tahan lu.
Gado.
Oh my god, bro, you are handsome. Handsome like a monkey. Boleh panas dia, panas.
You're reported. Thank you.
Oh my
god, you're a Jew?
Jew?
Yeah, are you Jewish?
Oh no.
You're not, no, Mika, you're not Jewish?
Yeah, I'm not Jewish.
So what are you?
You're right, you're gay, not Jewish.
What did he say? What?
Are you gay?
What the? I'm not gay. Oh my god.
Oh my god, you just.
Huh?
Hey, Hitler. Hey, you Hitler?
Hi.
Why you do this? You Hitler?
Yeah.
I hope one day you gonna. I hope someone will kill you. You know why? Because you are stupid. I don't care. I want you to. I want.
Right? But
I want.
people, right?
I want to kill you because you. I will find you. Yeah. Where are you from? I will find you. German. Don't worry, I will come to Germany. I will come. I will find you. I will kill you. I will.
What is this?
This is your mom. This is your mom. Fuck you. Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid shit. You look like a fucking shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't knock. Hey. You're my bitch. Hey. Hey. You're my bitch, right? You're my bitch. No. Oh, bitch. Fucking you. Don't worry. I will one day find you. Don't worry. I'll one day. I promise you. I will find you.
Friday, holiday.
Tell me your address. Right now.
Ujang, oi. Pergi sana berobat. Ngapain aku ngasih alamatku?
Tell me your address. Right now.
I tell you my address.
Why I will fucking kill you? That's why.
Come to my country. Go. Banyak omong sih.
Yeah, I will fucking kill you. $700. $700. Right now.
Go.
Go what? Go to your hell.
You are.
Yeah, very, very mature, very funny.
Thank you.
Well, you're trying to like provoke some Jews and Israelis, but you know, you just like make fun of yourself that way.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
Germany.
Germany. Well, your day will come. Don't worry. You just you see you just like you can't succeed in life. Like everybody probably hates you, you know, and you don't have like a girlfriend, and you're ugly. Plus, you're very ugly. But you're trying to find like comfort in Nazism. You're trying to be a neo-Nazi. I'm just like curious why you being like why you being like a loser.
Okay, come on. Talk to me.
Hey, Ching Chao. Ching Chao. Ching Chao. Ching Chao. Ching Chao. Very nice, Ching Chao. Very nice.
What is this?
What is this? What is it? A Chinese ball? What is it? A Chinese slice of piece of cake? I got this. Hey, bro, you're still ugly, bro. It doesn't matter. You can make fun of me. Gaza, right?
Dance in there.
Come to Gaza. Come to
Dance
Gaza.
with IDF.
Come to Gaza. We're still killing you guys, bro. We're still killing you guys. And you know, we're still killing you. Look at me, I'm Mr. Ching Chong. Ching Chong. I'm Miss Ching Chong. I'm Miss Ching Chong. I'm from Asia. I'm from Asia. I'm Ching Chong. What is the Ching Chong? You know, Ching Chong. I'm Ching Chong. I am so talking about Ching Chong. Oh, Ching Chong. Ching Chong. Ching Chong. Ching Chong. Ching Chong. I'm a little there. Is there here a red dragon on Jackie Chan? I'm a witness. I'm Ching Chong. I'm Ching Chong. I'm Chong.
Monkey live in forest.
Chong Chong. Are you Chong Chong? Do you teach Ching Chong for Chinese? Are you doing something for the red dragon Jackie Chan? Adolf Hitler? I'm a Chinese Nazi. Oh. Selfie time. Hey bro, where you from?
Oh my god, bro.
Where are you from?
You're like a baby, bro.
You're like a baby.
You got offended. You're very good. Oh, you're very good. You're very good. This is the army. The Jong, do you know the Jong Chinese egg roll? Do you know egg roll? Hey, where can I get a ball of rice? Where can I get a ball of rice? Where can I get a ball? Hurry up and buy. Wow. Ching chong on. Ching chong on. I think I got on.
Macam-macam orang Israelnya. Gila saja. Dan orang kaya nak ambil. Aduh yang aku dah blast part-part orang kaya nak dan. It's so crazy, bro. It's crazy.
At a nail shop in Bali, Indonesia, two women on vacation from the US and UK became irate over their nail salon bill. So days after the incident, these two were quickly apprehended at the airport before they could flee to Thailand. So the Daily Mail reported that the woman claimed they were held hostage, as they referred to them as backpackers without enough money to pay the staff, but also allegedly tried to take cash from the salon as well. So just 2 days later, they were arrested at the airport trying to conceal their identities, and are now facing charges including maltreatment and forcing others to do something, which totals over 3.5 years in prison. As the Twitter replies talk about how in Central Asia, the laws actually apply, in contrast to the US and UK, where the rules typically don't, wishing that the US would do the same. Now I think there's a fine line between law and order and a dystopian police state, as the idea of maltreatment getting you 2 years in jail sounds extreme, but I think their penal code translation is closer to assault than just bad treatment. And that actually makes more sense. I just think it's going to be pretty shocking for these ladies if they indeed get 3 years in prison over nail polish. But maybe that's why we don't see many videos of unemployed behavior popping up out of Bali, as there's plenty of footage of nail salon customers simply walking out without paying in places like Long Beach, California. And even across the entire continent in Toronto, Canada. As a lot of Americans seem to feel completely comfortable not paying at Asian establishments in general. But what's interesting is on TikTok there's replies with hundreds of thousands of likes pointing out that they should have known or done more to stop them, and even go as far as thinking they need security guards or use the same door buzzer locks used at banks. So notice how the EBT class went from the police should stop prosecuting people for petty crimes to when you're the victim of a petty crime, it's somehow your fault. And now, you need to protect your nail polish the same way banks secure hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash. And I'm sorry, if you need to protect nail polish behind an armed guard and 2 levels of ballistic glass, you no longer live in the civilized world, and at that point, I don't even think you need your nails painted. So sad to say, how do we avoid a society that needs to secure the salon like Fort Knox, throwing the book at the thieves that think the rules don't apply to them? As interestingly, look at why Indonesia has lower crime rates. They cite lower unemployment and higher human development, as they boast an increasing clearance rate on their crimes reaching over 70%, compared to the US, where even serious crimes barely scratch 60% in the best case scenario, but more frequently sit at 10%. And comparing Indonesia to the US, we have 5 times the robberies, 3 times the number of jailed people per capita, but interestingly, the same amount of foreign prisoners. It's almost like the justice system can work as a deterrent when you allow it to actually work. But for some reason, deep blue parts of the country decided that certain crimes are fine because of social justice. But that birthed this new phenomenon of Americans going to places like Indonesia and Japan and are now looking at several years in prison for what America would tolerate, and companies inside the country needing to employ their own Costco brand Indiana Jones just to protect the people that the justice system won't. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on that Kirkland brand Indiana Jones that gave those smash and grab robbers a really hot tip to stop stealing.
Alright, I guess we done. Even apa jadi, lepas ni kita akan main depan makan kot. CS tu maybe. Tu lah tak ada orang. Bosan gila nak main solo. Main solo je kalau. Main solo je kalau. Ciao lu, apa-apa pun kalau.